really changed in terms of the main players. The main guys stayed the main guys. What you have to hope for, if you're Brad Treliving, the general manager of this club, and Brendan Shanahan, the president, is you get guys who grow. You get guys that have internal improvements, because of your ability to help them, hone their game. And they've had that. They've had Michael Bunting roll in off the scrap heap and have that sort of internal improvement. Bloom is a player on a big stage in Toronto with big line mates in Toronto. They got to hope they can repeat that trick. And Noah Gregor certainly is getting that opportunity to try at least.
Here's Leafs coach Sheldon Keefe on what he's learned about Gregor so far.
He's taken advantage of every shift that he's had. I think that his speed, of course, is a great threat, and there's so much you can do with guys that can skate like that, on both sides of the puck. He's done a terrific job on the penalty kill for us, and we've been pretty much healthy on forward all season, so there hasn't been a lot of wiggle room or movement there for him. I think, with Bertuzzi and Nyes and Robertson, those guys have done a good job. And obviously got Marner, Nylander, and Yarncroc on the right side. So it's been tough to get him more, because you're trying to get the other guys going just the same, and they deserve their minutes. But, when things happen and there's an opportunity there, you want to reward a guy that's really just worked extremely hard, hasn't complained or asked questions or anything like that. He's just taken every shift and every day as it comes. And you admire that, and you need that as a coach when you're trying to build a team and you're trying to keep the team moving. But when there's opportunity there for those that deserve it, I just think that makes sense for us rather than shuffling everybody around. It's just give him that chance and let him go with it. Just watching a bit on video and seeing the highlights. Saw him in Traverse City as well, and it's just tremendous skill, creativity. They got a few guys like that, some of the older guys, some of the younger guys, but good size, good on the puck. But, he's another example of what I'm talking about. They've just got lots of guys that make plays, and give them time and space. They're going to be real creative with it. So, that's something to manage, but exciting young player for sure.
When Austin is going, probably a dumb question, what are the telltale signs for you that, he's feeling it tonight or feeling it right now?
Yeah, just how much his legs are moving, how much he's getting the puck to the middle of the ice, and then just playing on the attack. To me, just shooting the puck. But all the things that happen leading up to the shot, right, that get him out of our zone, get him to the neutral zone, get him, entering into the offensive zone and attacking the net. And then from there, then he's either earning the puck back or he's immediately working into the next play, in the next area to get the puck back to shoot again and sort of start that process. It just, to me, puts such stress on the opposition that not only benefits him, but the rest of his line mates and the rest of the game. I just find it gets the opposition on their heels far more. That's really what driving play and being an elite player is about, like all the goals and everything else. That's great, and it comes as part of that process I'm talking about, but it also just really sets our game up for success in terms of winning a shift and getting the opposition on their heels. And then you want to sort of build it from there, right? You want the next group to come out because they've got a favorable situation to come out and keep that going, and then the next line and the next line. And that's ultimately what you're trying to build, and you need your top people to really drive it.
Sheldon Keefe, the key word there is build, and we've seen a build with this team, haven't we?
Oh, without a doubt. You think about the way it's gone. Austin Matthews is a case in point. He's really built. He's this recent stretch here. He is the king of December, mid-December here in the NHL. 7 goals in 5 games, leads the league in this month. And before that, it was a little bit of a fallow period for Austin Matthews. 1 goal in the previous 9 games. So there's been a nice build there. I think there's been a nice build all around them. It's not just about the top guys. We talked about it off the top of the show. There's been some depth scoring. There's been depth improvement. I look at Max Domi as a guy who's been a big improvement over the at the start of the year. There was a lot of lamenting about him not scoring. I know that's kind of stopped, even though he's not lighting the lamp on a regular basis, but he has been a mainstay in that third line center role, and I think it's been important for him and for this team to solidify that third line. Now, whether or not that's going to be a third line you can take to the playoffs is going to be a matter of debate, but for now it's been serviceable and better.
So let's add Camp into that as well with the regular scoring. But, we've got the grid in front of us now. So when Nyes comes back, Gregor, you would assume, goes down to the fourth line, but maybe stops at the third line.
He might. I mean, he's making a case, right?
Yeah.
He's making a case that he deserves to be moved up the lineup. And this is a big game for him tonight where, Matthew Nyes looked like he might be ready to go, and yet he's not ready to go. The flu bug has hit the Maple Leafs, and Matthew Nyes is its latest victim. Noah Gregor, one man's illness is another man's opportunity, and Noah Gregor is certainly getting that opportunity. And you're right. If you're Sheldon Keefe and you see this guy have a great game tonight, you may want to reinsert Matthew Nyes into that top line role because you shouldn't lose your job just because you got the flu bug.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you may have to think about Nick Robertson moving down and Gregor in the third slot.
So it's Columbus tonight, and you may slough that off, but they've lost twice to Chicago, so I wouldn't slough it off. Here is John Tavares and what he's seen from Columbus so far this season.
They certainly have some dangerous players and talents, and it's a National Hockey League. You don't take anyone for granted, and you expect a really good challenge, a really good test from them, and important for us coming off of a good road trip. Obviously, a really busy stretch in our schedule that that you're sharp early and get engaged, and the details in our game are there, especially because we haven't been practicing a whole lot. So important to get off on the right foot and try to establish our game right off the get-go.
John, I'm not sure if you were asked right now about your dad's reaction. I heard you talking about that. Have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah. It's fantastic. I know it got pretty popular online, so I think just the emotion of the moment and just amazing to have him there. I've talked about over the last few days that he worked hard labor and missed a lot of my hockey growing up as a kid, and a lot of that sacrifice was so I could play the game and pay for my equipment and my registration fees and all those sorts of things. And my mom took me to a lot of my games, practices, all those things. So really cool to have him there for a moment like that, and to see his reaction was fantastic.
Were you surprised by his reaction? It seemed like a normally stoic guy like you.
Yeah, it comes out every once in a while, so I think it was obviously a great trip for our dads and mentors and whatnot, and to have that on top of it. And I know everyone was really excited for him in the box and as a group. So, I think he kind of fed off that himself. So, and obviously it was just a big goal in the game for our team to, get that point and get to overtime. So I think just overall was a great moment for me and nice to have him there and obviously have the reaction that he had.
I know you talked about it a little bit, but what's it like now to see Minton and Cowan officially moving together?
Phenomenal. I remember going through the process, and it's such an exciting experience, a tremendous honor, and obviously we know what the tournament means in Canada and any kid growing up, and once you get to junior hockey, to have that opportunity to play at the World Juniors representing Canada is really, really special. So it's amazing for them too, and really excited for them. Can't wait to watch, and great for our club here in Toronto, seeing the bright future that those guys hold and how they're going to impact the organization in the near future.
John Tavares, pretty optimistic about things, and well, he should be, paying tribute to his father, which I thought was very nice of him to do that because of the sacrifices that are made. This is, we talked about this before with the gaps in the schedule, the gaps going into Sweden and coming back home from Sweden. And so they're in the midst of 5 games in 8 nights, and they're 2-0-1 so far. Tonight against Columbus, Saturday against Pittsburgh. But sometimes you just have to let the schedule take over.
You have to. I mean, they knew that because of the European trip, because of the time built in before and after, it was going to make the back half of the year a lot busier, a lot more concentrated, a lot more compacted. And now we're starting to see that, right? And you got to live with that. On the upside, if you well, maybe not the upside, because they, as you pointed, they have lost to Chicago a couple of times, but 3 of their next 7 are against these guys, including tonight.
Yeah.
So they got Columbus in concentration in December here, in the back half of December. So what that'll mean, who knows? But can't take this team lightly. I mean, they've got electric talent out there. Fantilli can really play. Obviously, Zach Werenski.
Yes.
Leading the Columbus Blue Jackets in points off the back end. Not something you see every day, but it speaks to the fact their forwards struggle. So, yeah, you do not want to take this team lightly. And I'm not sure Sheldon Keefe will not be saying those very words as we speak.
And Elvis is playing for Columbus tonight, so we'll let you know when Elvis leaves the building.
Yes, indeed.
We'll set up the opening face-off for you next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They can help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
Louise from Saskatoon writes, Dear Canadian Tire, I really did it this time. I volunteered to host Christmas. Where do I start? I recommend cleaning. The good news is Canadian Tire carries a wide selection of vacuums. Quality brands like Dyson, Shark, and iRobot will leave your floors so clean your guests could eat off them. That's not a recommendation, by the way. Be guest ready with everything you need for holiday cleaning at Canada's Christmas store. Visit CanadianTire.ca or this week's flyer for Christmas rush deals.
The Virgin Plus Big Boxing Week event is here.
Check out these deals. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Prices fit for those post-holiday wallets.
It's like a gift that keeps on giving.
Right now, get great prices on phones and data plans.
Let's keep shopping.
After all, affordable is always worth celebrating.
Virgin Plus, obviously.
Visit a Virgin Plus store or virginplus.ca for details. Also, obviously.
Well, the injuries mount up, but somehow so does the win total. Lately, regulation wins is becoming a regular thing. How about tonight? The visiting Jackets have only 2 regulation wins this season on the road. They are 2-8-3. They feature the highly regarded Adam Fantilli, so I have to ask, will the Leafs start fast like they did Tuesday night at Madison Square? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do, and they're back home at Scotiabank Arena. Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey. Jim Taddy, Dave Feschek from the Toronto Star, and Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph standing by. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra Export or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. And here is the starting lineup for the Leafs, pretty well the same as the other night, but Lagesson is back in, so Matthews centers Nylander and Gregor, Tavares centering Marner and Bertuzzi, Domi centering Yarncroke and Robertson, Cam centering Reeves and McMahon. The blue line pairings are Riley Brody, Lagesson, McCabe, Benoit Timmins, and Samsonov is the starter. Dave, what do you think of that?
I think we're going to see something here tonight, and they're going to see Ilya Samsonov attempt to build back his confidence. And this is a huge storyline for me. As good as Martin Jones was in coming in with the injury to Joseph Wall, they need Samsonov to get back to being the guy he was last season, not the guy he's been this season, which, of course, is a much more erratic, inconsistent player. But we got 2 goaltenders, Ilya Samsonov of the Maple Leafs and Elvis Merzlikins of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Are both coming off an illness, flu-like illness, which seems to be going around the NHL right now. We'll see who bounces back better.
Well, it seems to be going through the Leafs, too, right? Because Nyes has that.
Yeah, and Sheldon Keefe has talked about how, hey, when it hits you, you're just bracing to hope that it doesn't hit another guy. Let's hope it is limited to the circle it's been limited to for now. But Nyes not playing tonight, even though he skated this morning. And Noah Gregor getting the opportunity up on the first line.
It's interesting to watch because there was a lot of concern about this Maple Leaf hockey team, and one of the storylines was lack of regulation wins, but they've won 3 of their last 4 games in regulation, so that's put to bed.
we're starting to see a little bit more dominance, I guess you would call it. You know, getting the 7-3 win against the Rangers in the Garden, the 4-0 win over the Nashville Predators. They hadn't been doing that. They've been engaged in a lot of one-goal games in the lead-up to those two big wins, two regulation wins, as you point out. Important stuff for me. I think you got to build some breathing room out there. A lot of times I think the Leafs make it harder on themselves than they need to. Sheldon Keefe's talked about how they're prone to the big mistake. They're prone to sort of shooting themselves in the foot. If they can eliminate that habit and just, hey, when you get up one, get up two, that's what Sheldon Keefe's been pushing for here, and I think that's what he wants to see tonight against a very, very, inconsistent and struggling Columbus Blue Jackets team.
Well, certainly if you go back to Saturday, the 4-0 win over Nashville, really defensively responsible, and then go to Tuesday night's game in New York against the Rangers where they started fast and had that 4 goals before you could blink. If you could combine those two, that would be nice to see.
That's what you got to start doing. You really have to do it in that fashion, and you just can't, the inconsistency of the starts, another thing that Sheldon Keefe has talked about. Here's a great opportunity to pounce on a team that is a team that is struggling.
All right, the opening faceoff is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
This league's crazy right now. This thing is all up in the air.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Travis Kelce. This dude sees the game differently and at a much higher level than a lot of people out there running around playing.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman joining us.
Dak has always had all of the intangibles, and it's why I've always had so much respect for him.
Nobody covers the game like SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
You have the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots, and the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that, and until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you, they'll wow the fans, they'll win or lose 5-4, but right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado. It was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets collide here for the first time this season as the Leafs come back after a overtime loss and a victory on the state of New York, and it will be Columbus who will get Elvis Merzlikins back into the lineup in goals, 6-8-4 and a 3.10 goals against average, and Ilya Samsonov 5-1-4 for the Maple Leafs, 3.29 his goals against average. We're underway as the puck is dropped and it's cleared down into the Columbus zone. The Blue Jackets have struggled. They've played well enough to be in games but have not been able to close out and are subsequently floundering in the middle of the standings as the Leafs have it down in their zone. Swept towards the net by Matthews, but it was knocked away. Cleared out at center ice. Good hit there on the boards then by Gregor. Brought into the Leafs zone by Justin Danforth, who goes around back of the net. Danforth flipping it back to the goal, and a shot from a sharp angle was stopped, and the Maple Leafs are going to circle back with Nylander, getting it off on the far wing. Leafs getting a change going. Brody back of this zone, got it ahead on the left wing, and it is fired in then by Lagesson. Leaf scratches tonight. Matthew Nye still battling the flu bug, and Max Lajoie as the Leafs go with the standard 12 forwards. Tavares playing it down into the zone. Pretty successful road trip for John Tavares, hitting the 1,000-point mark, and now 1,001. Puck in the offensive zone, and a shot off an angle comes back to the left point. Lagesson with a shot, blockered away nicely by Merzlikins. And now here are the Blue Jackets launching it high to center ice. McCabe for Marner. Marner trying to stretch things out, and he has done that enough to allow change of players, and now he's going to the bench. Leafs break it out on the left wing. Robertson got it ahead for Domi, and it's pushed into the near corner. Domi goes into the corner against Jake Bean. The puck comes free on the far side. McCabe has pinched to try to keep it in, and he got some assistance there, and a long shot whistled wide of the net off the stick of Kalle Järnkrok. Now Domi centering in front. Järnkrok tried to chip it to the net, never reached there. He hustles after it into the far boards area with Bean. Puck is dug out by Domi, but it is onto the stick of Patrick Laine, and Laine gets it out. Sillinger in across the line, left wing side. Laine to the front of the net. Sillinger had it knocked off his stick, but regains it on the near boards. Works it back behind the goal. Cut off there by the Leafs, and Connor Timmins will get it ahead. And now Domi trying to just flip it to the blue line to get a change going. And the Blue Jackets bring it right back into the Leafs zone. Reeves, a pass off his stick is going to go down into Columbus territory. Werenski goes around back of the net. A pass up on the left wing, in behind the defense and breaking in. A chance in on goal, and it was knocked wide of the net. Great chance there for Texier, and now it's into the far corner and back to the blue line. Long pass by Werenski into the corner, centering pass in front of the net, backhanded towards the goal. A scramble in front of the Leaf net. Played back on the right wing side. Blankenberg sends it into the slot area, and the Leafs hemmed in their own zone, and Morgan Riley gets it airmailed now to center ice. Once again, the fourth line having difficulties in its own zone. Nylander now to Matthews, and it was off his stick before he could get a shot away. No score. We're almost 4 minutes into the first period. Danforth in with a pass, centered in front, knocked back into the corner. Now out in front of the Leaf goal, is punched out at center ice, and racing after it is Gregor. Gregor to Matthews, and Matthews trying to kick it up to his skate from his skate to his stick has it go offside. And Mr. Ralph is here. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, Joey. Actually, the Columbus Blue Jackets have been better of late. In the last 11, they're 5-5-1. So they might not, and with injuries as well, so they may not get to the postseason this year, but I think they're going to be like San Jose, where they're still going to be a team that if they can outwork you on certain nights, they're going to have some success.
Fantilli, youngster, has lost the puck, and then a rebound in front of the goal was knocked just wide of the net. Merzlikins was down, thought he had it underneath his glove, but it turned out he didn't. Now here's the centering pass by Riley that was intended for Gregor that didn't connect. Nylander in the far corner. Back to the blue line. Gregor backhanding it in once, then twice. Bouncing puck into the near corner. Matthews tries to get an angle on it and does. Got it back of the net. Nylander centers in front. And Bertuzzi coming off the bench. Great play by Riley to keep it in. Bertuzzi first missed it, and then as it was going out of the zone, Morgan Riley dove and just did get the tip of the stick on to keep it in. Great play. They still have it in the zone as a result. Now Marner fans on a shot, and out come the Blue Jackets to center, playing it down into the Toronto end. Benoit around on the boards for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi chipping it back ahead, and now to Tavares across the line. Can't handle a bouncing puck. Out come the Blue Jackets on the right side, in over the line. Chinakhov trying to work to the net, and it's deflected wide of the goal. Someone's lost a stick in the fray here, and that was Timmins, who now heads to the bench. Wholesale changes for the Maple Leafs. Blue Jackets get it to the line. Pass comes off a stick wide and back out at center for Laine. And here's Patrick Laine, selected second in the draft when Matthews went to Toronto. Loses the puck there to the Leafs. Chipped up at center and to the line, but not out. And a long shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Jake McCabe will get it to the line, but unable to get it out past Cole Sillinger. Now a pass in front. Laine with that wrist shot had to go high over top of the goal. Pass stolen in front, they score! Patrick Laine, who has certainly had the Leafs' number since he's come into the league. It's everybody else's number he can't seem to find. But he scores the opening goal here on a giveaway as Kent Johnson got it from behind the net out in front.
Well, Max Domi tried to throw it around behind the Leaf net. Kent Johnson not only picked it off, but in one motion, relayed it out to the circle, just to the right of Ilya Samsonov, and a quick release of Patrick Laine. Has the Columbus Blue Jackets up 1-0 in this game. And again, we talked about this coming in, where it's a league where if you get outworked, you're going to be in trouble, regardless of the talent level on the other side of the ice. And right now, Columbus is matching the Leafs in work ethic and up 1-0.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Laine, 13 games against the Leafs. That's his 10th goal. He has 1 assist. A shot from an angle is whistled high and wide of the Toronto goal. Played down into the near boards. Chopped at by the Leafs, and now played by Matthews out at center for Morgan Riley. Riley, a nifty move to get into the zone, and when he got his shot away, it was deflected by Provorov, and it went wide of the net. Provorov engaged now by Matthews, who comes out of the scrum with it. Back to the point. Unable to shoot it. Benoit. Now he does, and it went off the skate of Matthews and went wide of the goal. Back to Willie. Nylander to Riley, and a shot that was blocked. Matthews gets the rebound on the far wing. Sides by one. Plays it in front of the net. Benoit, shot, and into the glove of Merzlikins. The best scoring chance the Leafs have garnered here thus far. 12:42 to play in the first period, and the Columbus Blue Jackets have drawn first blood. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Larry the Cable Guy.
how it started.
I went on stage one day and I said, hey, this guy ever come over to your house? Hey, did you order cable? Well, somebody's ordered something. And I come off stage and like a beeline. Rob Schneider said, that cable guy thing is hilarious. And David Spade goes, that's a Saturday Night Live character.
Now, hear Larry the Cable Guy and the Fun Bunch. Wednesdays at 11 a.m. East.
On Sirius XM 97 or listen on the Sirius XM app. Get her done.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
And the Maple Leafs trail 1-0.
Good news for the Columbus Blue Jackets to get the goaltender back, but the bad news is Boone Jenner, broken jaw. We're off to a great start. Yeah, great start for Columbus. I mean, you had Goodro and you had Laine have struggled out of the gate, but the captain, Boone Jenner, has been outstanding. They lose him of late. Jack Roslovic, Adam Boquist, Eric Gabranson suspended for not liking getting hit from behind.
Yeah. Puck at the blue line, kept in by the Leafs. A shot by Riley, steered away by Merzlikins, and now cleared high to center ice. Riley back in his own zone. Got it ahead for Tavares. Tavares to the line, had it bogged down, and the Blue Jackets come away with the loose puck. Almost give it away, and now up on the right side it comes for Blankenberg. Long shoot in, a nasty rebound off of the goaltender, and the puck is cleared by the Leafs down the ice.
Well, I mean, that was a wrist shot from the boards just inside the Leaf blue line. Right wing side, and somehow Ilya Samsonov couldn't handle it. All kinds of traffic in front, whacking away, trying to look at the rebound. Shots on goal still favoring the Leafs 5-4. Ilya Samsonov, Joe, I think especially with Joseph Wall on the lineup, he's got to find his game. I mean, you don't want to add more questions to what do the Leafs need between now and the trade deadline.
Well, the addition of Martin Jones is proving to be a fairly beneficial one, and how the Leafs kind of orchestrated that to get him by waivers after training camp has been beneficial already. Thought he played fairly well in the game in New York.
Oh, absolutely.
Puck brought in by Chinakhov, trying to work on the far side. Still has it as he comes down the slot to the right wing side. A pass in front. Oh, Samsonov went post to post and made an excellent save there. Lifted high into Columbus territory. Stolen almost there by Nylander as he knocks it into the corner. Batted around by Chinakhov back of the net. Out come the Blue Jackets, led by Cole Sillinger. He and Jack Roslovic, natives of Columbus, Ohio. Played off the boards and in now by Gregor. He's on a Lone Ranger expedition here, waiting for teammates to come off on the change. And the Blue Jackets are going to get it out into neutral ice and play it in over the line. Lagesson getting it up on the wing. Flipped high to center ice by Toronto. Gregor to the bench. Fourth line out for Toronto. Played in across the line. Lagesson knocked it down. Jake McCabe has it. Got it ahead off a stick in over the line. Reeves and McMahon chasing after. And Reeves went nose first into the sideboards there, and he Looks like he is
he's hurt. When Ryan Reeves went to get the loose puck on the left wing boards and a bit of a speed wobble before he crashed into the glass.
He seems to have a leg injury of some sort being attended to now.
He's stretching the left leg out. And I don't know, that's, you would figure maybe ankle more than anything else, Joe. Just the way he seemed to stumble when he got there. He seems to be extending the left leg, maybe left knee.
He's back on his skates and being escorted.
But yeah, not putting any weight whatsoever on the left foot.
He's heading off to the Leaf dressing room. And it's kind of strange because it's almost like he didn't realize where he was on the ice because he crashed into the sideboard. Now, did he step on the puck? Was that?
Yeah, or the skates hit the boards before his upper body. Either way, Ryan Reeves does not look good heading off the ice to the Leaf dressing room. 10:36 to go here in the first period.
David Camp comes out with McMahon and Yarncrook filling in for Reeves on this line. And here are the Blue Jackets in across the line. A pass on the right wing side and a shot taken by Danforth was stopped by Samsonov. Played off the boards to the line. A lead pass at center doesn't connect. Camp has to go back into his own zone, being chased hard. Got it around on the boards for Riley. Riley got it ahead for Yarncrook. Quickly ahead now for Bobby McMahon. McMahon in over the line. Trying to send it towards the front of the net, but it was blocked. But Camp follows up on the play. Camp ridden off, gets it back again. Back of the goal. Coming out in front, jamming at it. And it's twickled wide of the net as Nylander was there. That would have been an interesting call, wouldn't it? He literally brought it out from behind the net, tried to jam it in, but then he kind of got engaged by the defenseman and pushed Merzlikins right back into the net. But the puck went wide.
It'd be interesting to see if they said that he was pushed in or held in by the defenseman of the Columbus Blue Jackets or not.
Chinakhov gets it around on the boards. Nylander breaks up the play, but it comes right in front of the net, and the shot, and a great save made by Ilya Samsonov's left hand. Voronikov came loose in front of the net and was all by his little old lonesome. And Samsonov snaps that one out of the air. It's 1-0 Columbus, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
People often ask me how fast I am. Oh, 1 sec. I just went to Bali and back. I'm also fast when it comes to helping people. Like when I helped Bill. His company vehicles were being serviced, and I was able to help him with a business loan. He got the transport trucks they needed, and I got to honk the horn. All of them.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
I donated blood for the first time after my dad was injured.
I donated plasma after my friend got sick.
A donor made it possible to have more holidays with Dad.
More holiday markets with my friend.
So I make the time.
So now I tell everyone.
Blood and plasma donors make the holidays brighter for families like mine.
Donate blood or plasma this holiday season at Canadian Blood Services. Visit blood.ca to book an appointment at a location near you.
From Lone Star to the All-Star, the big and bold tastes of Texas are serving up your shot at a trip for two to the 2024 Rogers NHL All-Star Game. You can visit Lone Star Texas Grill for an ice-cold Texas-sized Molson Canadian and your chance to win seats at the first All-Star Game in Canada since 2012. Go from sizzling hot fajitas to sizzling hot puck handling. Win a trip to the NHL All-Star Game from Lone Star Texas Grill. Must be legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. Learn more at lonestar.ca.
Trailing in the first period is nothing new to the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. They are 7-3-2 when trailing first in the hockey game. It used to be a fairly important statistic.
For some teams it is.
It is, yes.
I believe when giving up the first goal, only Vegas is right behind Toronto. in that category. So I think it's great when you look at the Leafs and how often they've been able to come back from deficits. Of course, they've also been victimized by blowing some leads in the early going. So for your entertainment dollar, Leafs would be your best bet because no lead appears to be very safe either way.
Tavares, after the puck down in the offensive zone, knocked it off his stick but couldn't get it out in front. And Laine, the goal scorer, comes to center. Plays it off onto the left wing side. Goes to the front of the net, but the Leafs take it away. And Bertuzzi will drop it off down to the defense as Lagesson plays it behind the net, then had it stolen. It's around back of the goal for Kent Johnson. Again, a shot! Smothered by Samsonov. Johnson must have an invisible cape on, because that's twice now where the Leafs have passed him the puck in behind the net. The last time he centered it out and Laine scored.
Either that or he knows all the Leafs nicknames.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yes.
He put Lagesson, just put this right onto his tape. Thought Johnson was going to do the flyby. Columbus forward reads it perfectly. That's where Mitch Marner is very good at being that half a step ahead of the play. Johnson's done it twice here in the first period.
Played out and down into the zone, and an icing call against Toronto. Referees tonight, Caleb Apperson and Michel Cormier are the linesmen. Jake Brent and Garrett Rank are the referees.
Now it is Seward, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They had a 14-game stretch between October 24th and November 19th. They went 1-9-4. So one win in 14 games, so gets you out of a playoff spot in November in a hurry.
Columbus Blue Jackets have blown more leads than anybody in the league, 15 times. And Seattle is next with 11. So this is nothing new for Columbus, but the Leafs are going to have to get their game in order here to take advantage of that bit of history, as another icing here against Toronto will bring the puck back with 8:11 left to go in the first period. 1-0 in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Really, the Leafs had the edge in play until the giveaway led to the Laine goal, and since then, that's what happens when you play teams that are out of a playoff spot and that might have been struggling. As soon as you give them some hope or a little bit of confidence, you see it goes right for their legs. And right now, Columbus out shooting the Leafs 9-5.
Morgan Riley.
I believe it was 5-2 at one point, wasn't it?
Peak intercepts and shoots and scores! Riley had the puck behind the net and rung it around the boards, but the Leaf forward had gone, and then a centering shot by Peak deflects off a Leaf stick. It's 2-0.
And guess who it is? Number 91, Kent Johnson, who set up the first goal, almost set up a second one. And Morgan Riley, I think, does the right thing, Joe, but Noah Gregor had blown the zone. He was actually flew past Peak and was up close to between the Leaf blue line and center ice. When it was picked off by Peak on the right wing boards, he just throws it to the net. And the redirection has the Blue Jackets up 2-0 on their 10th shot on goal of the period.
So Kent Johnson, young man from
their 10th shot on goal of the period.
So Kent Johnson, young man from Port Moody, British Columbia.
And he just got called back up. He had 3 assists in the 6 games since being recalled by the Blue Jackets.
Second goal of the season, and now 8 points after a goal and an assist here in the period. And an icing call here against Columbus will bring it down into the Toronto zone.
Now, is this not the frustration you have with the Toronto Maple Leafs? You go in and beat the best team in the Eastern Conference 7-3, come back against a team that seems destined to maybe finish last in the East. You're down 2-0 against a team that seems destined to maybe finish last in the East. You're down 2-0, outshot 10-5, 12 minutes into the first period.
I'll give you my answer midway through the third period. All right, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, baffling. And certainly, the Leafs have the firepower and, fortunately, the time left on the board to get back into it. But I think this is where the frustration comes in, where, like we said,
another icing here.
There, and I think the criticism, and maybe it's only criticism on one side, where they tend to play to the level of the opposition. No, play a good team, they play well. Came back twice on Boston, down 2 goals. Came back, lost to Chicago twice. You know, it really makes no sense, does it?
No, it doesn't. Until you sit back and you say to yourself, this is a pretty good league. And yeah, they're not in the playoffs and aren't in the playoff position, but it is a pretty good team, a pretty good league. And there are great players on each team. And when, like you say, if you give them a little bit of hope and they decide to put the pedal to the metal, anybody can beat anybody on any given night. But it is frustrating, regardless. Lagesson shoots it into the Columbus zone. Werenski punching it around back of the net. Tavares couldn't get it in front. Neither could Bertuzzi. Down the boards, Tavares again. It comes back to the point. Lagesson shot. That was deflected. Bertuzzi was right in front of the goal. Now Tavares trying to keep it in. Marner had it knocked away, and Columbus gets it out at center ice. Blankenberg will bring it in on the right side. From an angle, a shot swallowed up by Samsonov. And a faceoff coming in the zone. Line from Johnson and Johnson from Peak are the scoring tallies for Columbus. They lead 2-0.
The Leafs really had an outstanding scoring chance yet. Not a lot of pressure.
The glove save, I think Merzlikins made on who was it? On Benoit. But there hasn't been
a lot of sustained pressure.
No, that part has not happened. Now Nylander in across the line, weaves to the right wing side. His shot was blocked enough that it trickled into the corner. And back of the net, Provorov now trying to work it up the boards. Got it to the near half wall, then has to reverse his field to get it back behind the goal. Now with some time and space, they turn the puck over, but the Leafs have it roll out into the center ice area. Brody launches it right back into Columbus territory. Far side, chipped along the boards by Blankenberg. Stolen back by the Leafs. Round back of the net it goes. Here's McMahon working back towards the point. Got it to Benoit. Far side, and a shot by Timmins was blocked. Timmins in the corner. Timmins goes around back of the net, being hounded there. Still has it on his stick. Centers into the slot area. Back it comes to him. He drops it again for Matthews. Matthews drops it back again for Timmins. A long shot. Merzlikins waved at it and went just wide. Now here's Matthews again, centering, and a shot by McMahon. That was deflected wide of the net. Leafs keeping it in with Yarncrook getting it back to the blue line. Far side, Benoit shot in traffic, and Merzlikins is down. Good zone pressure here by the Maple Leafs. Matthews orchestrating a couple of decent scoring chances, but it's still 2-0 in favor of the Blue Jackets. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
This league's crazy right now. This thing is all up in the air.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Travis Kelce. This dude sees the game differently and at a much higher level than a lot of people out there running around playing.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman joining us.
Dak has always had all of the intangibles, and it's why I've always had so much respect for him.
Nobody covers the game like Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
You know how big a Civil War buff I am. Columbus Blue Jackets are named after the Union Blue because the state of Ohio produced so many Union generals, including Ulysses S. Grant and Sherman and Sheridan and others, including Ulysses S. Grant and Sherman and Sheridan and others. This is the anniversary of one of the worst defeats the Union Army had in December of 1863, the Battle of Fredericksburg. And Marie's Heights, thousands of federal troops tried to take a impregnable position behind stone wall at Marie's Heights and lost about 15,000 men. So just a little bit. That's why they have the cannon that goes off when they score in Columbus. Played back to the blue line. Werenski gets it in. Only on this broadcast would you get that kind of historical insight. That Werenski gets it in. Only on this broadcast would you get that kind of historical insight. That everybody is scratching their head going, what the hell is he talking about?
I got to level 800 on Candy Crush. I have a life, too.
Leafs after the puck in the offensive zone, a centering pass. It comes back to the point. Shot deflects wide of the goal off Laguson's stick. Tavares.
Danny Gallivan and Dick Irvin never talked about that.
No, never talked about that. No, you didn't learn anything.
Our heroes.
Chipped along the boards. Leafs still have it in the offensive zone. Lagesson left point. Tipped in then by Marner into the corner. Tavares after the puck. Marner trying to free it up. Centers. It comes back into the slot area, but Robertson couldn't shoot it. Now Marner has it again. Marner working the left half wall. Still with it. Tavares shot there by Robertson, and it whistled wide of the net. Karam's all the way to center ice. Bank pass ahead. Shot in by Nick Robertson. Domi in pursuit. Almost ran into Merzlikins, who was coming out from behind the net. And now it goes off a body over the glass and out of play. And a face-off coming in the Nashville zone, in the center ice area as a result.
Ilya Samsonov cannot be faulted on either goal that the Columbus Blue Jackets have scored, but it has been a tough run for Ilya Samsonov. Half the games he's played, he's given up 3 goals or more. And 5 of those, he's given up 4 or more. He's been pulled twice. And it always seems just as he looks like he's getting his feet under him, something else happens, whether it's long gap between games or illnesses.
Robertson gets the puck to Domi down in the offensive zone, but he couldn't find an outlet, and now Provorov gets it ahead, and out come the Blue Jackets to center ice. In on the right side, trying to skip by was Morchenko. It comes back with a shot that went wide of the Leaf goal. Chipped to the line, kept alive by Provorov, and sent around back of the Toronto net. Benoit reversing his field, but running into a traffic jam. Then got the puck into the corner for Domi. Domi got it ahead, and it's played out into the center ice area by the Leafs. It's rolling, but not going over the goal line, so there's no icing, and both teams are changing. 2:50 to go in the first period. 2-0 Columbus. Stolen by Matthews. Works in over the line on the right wing side, trying to work it in front. And it rolled off his stick as he was trying to get around Blankenberg. And Merzlikins was very quick to pounce on it and hold on.
Well, now we've got the switch for Kelly Yarncroc is back up with Matthews and William Nylander. And you wonder if, going back to the second goal scored by Columbus, maybe that has cost Noah Gregor some time in the first line.
Played back on the point now for Riley, and as he tried to go to Matthews along the line, it comes out into center ice territory, and the Leafs have to go back after it. Nylander On to Matthews, a nice movement over the line in the slot, and he leaned on one, but he drilled it right into the crest of Merzlikins, who is able to cover up on it.
Shots on goal getting a little closer, but still an edge for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I believe the Pittsburgh Penguins, Joe, already in town. They played Montreal last night. They're here to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday.
Kyle Dubas's return to Toronto. John Tavares, they're not celebrating the 1,000th point tonight. They want to get some family members, and I'm thinking that maybe it's Uncle Johnny that they're waiting for. He, of course, of great lacrosse fame down in Buffalo.
But they want to do it on a Saturday night as well, maybe?
It might be, yep. It has not been announced as to which game, but we may wager that. It's also Armed Forces Night here, and we'll have a special guest sitting with us on Saturday night, which is always a lot of fun. Long bouncing shot into the glove of Merzlikins, and with Bertuzzi bearing down on him, he'll hold on.
Well, it's been a quiet start for the Leafs and a very quiet crowd here in the opening 17 minutes and 55 seconds.
Shot of a family in the seats just echoed what you were saying.
And they're in the golds, too.
Drop pass now for McCabe. Sent into the corner. Marner. Too well covered. So is Bertuzzi. Goes around the boards. The Leafs are going to keep it in at the far point with Timmins getting it down around back of the net and in the near corner for Marner. Marner plays it off on the wing for Tavares. Tavares trying to free it up. Does for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi back to Timmins. He spun and shot, but it went off the skate of Bertuzzi. Now Bertuzzi whistles one wide of the net. Minute and a half to go in the period. Cole Sillinger will shoot it down into the Toronto end. Goaltender Samsonov got it up on the wing. Leafs turn. Bertuzzi skating to the red line, but running into a lot of traffic over there. And he'll head to the bench after getting it into the Columbus zone. Andrew Peak, the beneficiary of that giveaway that has escalated the lead to 2-0. Now here are the Blue Jackets again trying to work it in over the line. Fantilli couldn't get it in front of the net. Less than a minute to go in the period. Here's Nylander weaving in on the left wing and stopping up. Works it down the left wing board. Centering pass. Rolls in the goal crease. Oh, and it tipped off a stick and went just wide. One of the Blue Jackets trying to get it out of the blue paint. Almost put it in his own net. A shot taken by Brody was blocked. Played ahead now for Danforth. Danforth drops it off into the corner, and a sharp angle shot was blocked. Cleared by Fantilli into the slot area, and it's turned over. Nylander trying to skate after a loose puck. He's got some room as it comes in over the line. And it went off the stick of Jake Bean and up into the screen.
Well, he had the option of trying to get it to Austin Matthews, but waited a little too long, and by the time he delivered it to the net, Matthews was in double coverage. It was almost like for Willie Nylander, the bell went off saying, better hurry. We're running out of time here in the first period. And the other part of this is Nylander, the end of a shift, didn't have a lot of jump coasting down the left wing boards into the slot.
Jackets get it out into the center ice area. Turning with it is Timmins. Onto the left wing side, it comes to Robertson, and his attempted shot at the net is deflected up into the screen out of play.
By the way, just heard from our good friend Jonas Siegel, who says December 19th against the New York Rangers is when John Tavares will be honored for his 1,000th game. So that's next Tuesday?
Yeah. Yep.
.9 seconds to go here. Face off to the right of the Columbus goaltender Merzlikins.
21 shot attempts for the Maple Leafs. 18 for the Jackets. There's the horn that ends the period off a face-off in the Columbus zone. So the Maple Leafs, dare I say, true to form, have found themselves trailing one of the lesser lights in the National Hockey League after the first period. It is 2-0. And we will be back as Dave Feschuk joins Jim Taddy with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The fantasy football playoffs are here. Touchdown! In one of the most chaotic fantasy football seasons ever, you need Fantasy Sports Radio's experts to guide you to a championship.
Thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
From start-sit advice to how to pivot from a key injury, set a winning lineup with the best insight from our experts.
Patrick Mahomes against the Patriots, I'm expecting big-time points.
It's all on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the Sirius XM app, where fantasy football championships are won.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And trailing 2-0 to Columbus after 20 minutes of play. TSN After 20 is brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Hurry to your local Subaru dealer. Get more out of every kilometer this fall, including more karaoke. I don't think there's any singing in the Leafs dressing room. That was, I guess, a classic first period back after a sort of a mini road trip. They didn't look engaged at all.
They got the dad trip flu, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they missed their dads. I don't know how you explain the way they came out, because there was just no oomph to the Toronto attack. They really did not sustain much zone time. And then, they made the mistake, the big mistake twice. Bad turnover by Domi, bad turnover by Riley, and 2 pucks behind Ilya Samsonov that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, and so let's do, in order of appearance, the Domi one is early in the hockey game at 6:19 in, which may have been his second shift, third at the most. And it's play along the boards where he just lifts his head up and clears it right to Johnson, who feeds it right out the line, and who buries it. Lagesson was right there. I mean, he just wasn't aware, was he?
It was a bizarre play because the Leafs outnumbered the Blue Jackets in the corner, and Domi gets the puck. He's got all the time in the world. If you look at it from 30,000 feet, he doesn't seem to believe that. He's in panic mode. He's trying to move the puck as quickly as possible for a reason we can't quite understand, because he did not need to move the puck that quickly. There was no pressure on him. He could have passed it to Lagesson. He could have taken it himself. Instead, he passes it right to Kent Johnson, who's behind the net, and delivers a really nice sort of behind-the-back shovel pass over to Patrick Laine, who deposits it past Samsonov. And Laine, that's 10 goals he's scored in 13 games against the Leafs.
Yeah, he loves the Leafs.
He loves playing against the Leafs.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And the other one was a Morgan Riley. I guess it's just a lazy clear up the boards that Peake gets fires and Johnson tips in. But the bottom line in all this is, aside from who turned the puck over, the Leafs are spending a lot of time in their own zone, and those type of things happen. And when they go down the other end of the rink, it's like a 1-on-3. The Leaf has the puck, and there's 3 Jackets around him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. The Leafs really did not have anything you'd call like a grade A chance in that period. They really did not. They did not sustain a lot of pressure on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, it's funny how we talked about how Columbus has been brutal this season. They're 29th in the standings, the only team with 2 road wins in the league, the fewest in the league, and yet they've been one of the best first period teams in the league.
You're right.
So I think they've outscored their opponents now 34-25 in the first period. So, and they've just added to that. So, yeah, you could not take this team lightly. Everything told you, they've not been very good in third periods. They've given up all kinds of leads, and that bodes well for the Maple Leafs going forward in the final 40 minutes here. But, they were a team that can get a lead, and they've got one here.
All is not lost. I mean, we talked earlier in the pregame show about how you could suddenly spend some time in the offensive zone and get a couple of goals really quickly. And the Leafs just haven't played their game in the first 20 minutes, but there's no guarantee that that's going to continue.
No. Well, look, this is a depth challenge Columbus team. As much as we like to harp on the depth of the Maple Leafs being challenged by the injury bug, this Columbus team is without their number one center in Boone Jenner. They're without a bunch of other guys. Gabranson, one of their main defensemen, out with the suspension tonight after that melee against Florida a couple nights back. So, this is all is not lost. You're right. If there's a team you can come back against, it's the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Leafs have been one of the best comeback teams in the league. I'm sure Sheldon Keefe is reminding them to get back at it here and get back in this game.
Yeah, just looking at the shot totals, Marner had none. Austin Matthews had 1 and 2 that didn't get through for 3 attempts. And as we go down the list, Nylander had 3, so he was pretty busy for 4 attempts. No, he actually had 3 that didn't get through. Mm-hmm. And who am I missing? Tavares had 2 attempts that didn't get through. So the big guys aren't really firing. But again, they're in that zone. They're not getting a lot of opportunity. So we haven't seen the Leafs show up in their normal fashion.
No, I mean, Elvis Merzlikins is coming off a injury or illness, I should say, the Columbus goaltender, and he hasn't really been tested. I mean, the Leafs have got 9 shots registered, but none of them have been particularly heavy lifting for Elvis Merzlikins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, more pressure needs to be sustained here. Leafs just need to start playing. They really haven't come out firing here, and I'm sure Sheldon Keefe is reminding them that there is a game tonight, fellas, and they ought to join it.
And he's probably saying, we are no longer in New York City.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we always, when the schedule came out, we thought we'd be having the Mike Babcock reunion game, but of course, Mike Babcock couldn't make it to Game 1, let alone Game 31.
Could make it a training camp.
But we do. This does kind of call to mind a famous Babcock saying: "The Maple Leafs did not start on time, and maybe the second Second period will be the moment they decide to come to the rink.
We've got all the analysis wrapped up and lined up for the second period, that if this continues, we can refer back to the 2 losses to Chicago.
Yes.
And we'll trot those up. But we're not going to do that now.
No, let's not do it. I mean, and look, but John Tavares said it at the morning skate that, as much as you can look at Columbus's record and you can look at, hey, they had a 9-game losing streak in November. They've lost 4 of their last 5 coming in to the rink tonight. You could look at that and say, well, easy win, right? And yet they're an NHL team. NHL teams and NHL players love playing in this building.
Yeah.
Kent Johnson's a guy who's played for the World Junior team for Canada, a guy who played for the Canadian Olympic team. He's come to play tonight. Like, he's like, hey, I'm on some, I'm on the Canadian radar finally. Nobody watches Columbus Blue Jackets games, but they do watch Maple Leaf games. Kent Johnson's out here saying, hey, I got a goal and an assist, and I'm not even 20 minutes in.
2-0 Columbus over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Love meatballs? You could have spaghetti and meatballs, but why have a dish where they're mentioned second, like an afterthought? With 2-for-1 Pizza's new meatball menu, meatballs are the star of the show with dishes like meatball pizza, with meatballs, green peppers, and red onions starting at just $11.99, or their oven-baked meatballs, baked in their classic tomato sauce topped with Italian herbs for just $10.99. Order online at 2for1pizza.com.
2-for-1 pizza,
If you own an engagement ring from Spence, you can trade in your center diamond on a much larger diamond.
All you got to do is spend at least 50% more money.
A temporary oversupply of diamonds worldwide means you can own a much bigger diamond.
Natural diamonds were born when the world was new.
Created diamonds were born when your love was new.
Natural diamonds were born in the earth.
Created diamonds are born in a star.
Diamond prices will never be lower. Spence, located in Vaughan, Scarborough, and Mississauga.
This winter, there has been an increase in canceled appointments to donate blood and plasma. Cold and flu season paired with winter weather can push inventories to concerning levels. But patient need doesn't take a snow day. When you give blood and plasma through Canadian Blood Services, you don't just help someone. You help someone be there for their family. You don't just make a difference, you make all the difference. Book now at blood.ca.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Want to be certain your reno goes right? Start with Pro Materials with CertainTeed Drywall. In fire resistant, water resistant, super durable, or soundproof and top quality insulation. Ceiling systems, premium shingles, and siding. Do it right with professional grade building materials from CertainTeed. Pro all the way.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory. Arriving daily. Guy, it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Out of town, Carolina 1-0 over Detroit in the first period. End of the first, Capitals and Flyers are scoreless. Later on, Flames visiting the Minnesota Wild. Senators in St. Louis against the Blues and their new head coach. Lightning visiting the Oilers. Chicago in Seattle. And the Panthers visiting the Canucks. In our game, it's 2-0 for the Leafs. 2-0 for Columbus over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. That was wishful thinking. Laine with his 6, Johnson his second, has Columbus off to that 2-0 lead. Goaltenders, let's see, Samsonov stopped 9 of 11. The other end, Elvis stopped all 9. So 2-0 Columbus leads this. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Dodgers get Shohei Ohtani.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
10 years, $700 million. That's insane.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth, only better.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
I'm not sure that all of the contracts that I ever negotiated even total $700 million.
Where the players join the discussion.
Will Smith, Dodgers catcher.
He's the best player in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
You have the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs trailing 2-0. As we head to the second period, it's always good to pay attention.
What's that?
Precisely my point. Leafs will defend the goal to our left and the Blue Jackets to the right. Leafs a bit of a homestand. They've got the Pittsburgh Penguins here on Saturday. New York Rangers following on. And as you mentioned, it appears that it will be the Ranger game, that John Tavares will be honored with his 1,000 points. My son Sean doing a lot of the work for the visuals for all of that. Kind of nice.
Probably wait till it's been done, and it was really good to say that.
Yeah. I know my kids.
Sure.
I know my kids.
I know. So do I. By the way, let's throw this out right away because it seems to have an immediate impact.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this the shutout?
Yes.
Attaboy. You're very good at this.
Coming into the season, it was 145 games not being shut out, and 26 into this season, so it's at 171 games not being shut out.
You sure? You had to do math there.
Oh. Didn't I say it like I was sure?
Well, I had hoped that you had it written down and that you actually did your ciphering a little earlier. Not plus not equals not.
It'd be a lot easier if it didn't change by one every game they scored.
Yes. Leafs bring it in over the line on the left wing side. Riley with a shot that whistled wide of the net, and the rebound is brought out at center ice now by Johnny Goodro. When you think about Goodro and Laine, Goodro is minus 12 and Laine minus 11 coming into the game tonight, and the two highest paid players on the Columbus roster. Here's a giveaway now, and Matthews tried to flip it by Goodro and couldn't get it around him. Leafs in the center ice area. Brought to the blue line. Tavares trying to get onside, but he was That's an interesting call. He's trying to straddle the line. He gets collided with by a Columbus player and ends up going offside.
We've seen a Leaf penalized for that exact same thing, which was a collision. I remember it was in the second period. Can't remember the game with the other player involved, but it was the same thing. Somebody tried to straddle the line to stay on side, made contact with the defense when they got the penalty. And this was the opposite, where Tavares is trying to stay on side and ends up getting clipped.
Jake McCabe rattles it down into Columbus territory. Jiricek got it into the slot for the Blue Jackets to get it ahead. Stolen almost there from Chinakhov, and it comes out at center ice and now brought in on the right wing side. Chinakhov tries to get it into the slot. It comes back to the point. Provorov, long shot directed just wide of the net. Voronkov in front of the net, just got a piece of that. Now a centering pass, and fanning on it, which would have been an empty net if he makes any contact at all, was Marchenko. Wrap-around attempt doesn't work. Columbus buzzing in the Leaf zone. Tavares getting it back of the net for McCabe. McCabe back into the corner. Freed up there by Lagesson. And McCabe gets it back to Lagesson in the near corner with a little bit of skating room. Trying to punch it out, but doesn't get it past Laine. Laine in with a shot. And it went high and wide. Kept in by Kent Johnson at the far point. Laine with it again. Onto the left wing side for Jake Bean. A centering pass in front. Intercepted by Toronto and played back of the net for Marner. Marner skates it out at center. Marner to the line. Marner in on the right side. Going to ring the boards with it to try and find help, and it's Domi who plays it back into the corner for Marner. Marner coming out of the corner. Turns, centers, shot from an angle is blocked before it reached the Columbus goal. Johnson will bring it back and get it in over the line. Kent Johnson has really been the story of the first period. A goal and an assist. Domi trying to flip it in, and a backhand went just wide of the Columbus goal. Down into the corner again. Gregor centers in front. Domi was robbed. The rebound was tipped wide of the net by Yarncrook. Yarncrook coming out of the corner. Back to the point, Timmins. Now to Robertson. Robertson fans on a pass. Played it back along the boards into the corner then for Domi. Domi again on the near boards. Gets it back to the point. Benoit backhanding it in along, and now Domi trying to muscle it out in front. Had to go off his stick, and it is cleared out and down the ice by Columbus. Timmins off a stick and down into Columbus territory. Bobby McMahon from a sharp angle jamming at it, and Merzlikins just got that left pad down in time. Back to the point it comes to Brody. Far side now, and a shot in traffic in front of the net. Leafs with a little more jump here in the second period. Back to the point to Brody again. Fed off on the wing for Riley. Back in front, and a whistling shot stop. The rebound. Shot over top of the goal. Trying to relieve the pressure. It's shot out into the neutral zone and down into the Leaf end. And there will be no icing. Riley gets it back of the goal. Ran into some traffic there. Still trying to outfight his man. Camp couldn't help him out. It comes back to the point. Provorov, far side, and a bouncing shot easily steered wide of the net. Leafs get it up on the wing, and it's tipped down the ice. No icing. Both teams are going to get a change in. 2-0. Columbus. Goodro sends it down into the Leaf end. Suffice to say, the next goal is a big one. Fantilli had it knocked off his stick. Nylander is able to pull away with it. Dished it off, and up on the left wing it goes and fed into the zone by Jake McCabe. Matthews steals back to Marner. Marner holding and got a shot away that was blocked. Nylander with it back to Marner off his stick. Interesting combination here for the Leafs as the centering pass for Nylander didn't work. And now breaking out at center ice, and a good play by Timmins to take it away. What was developing into a 2-on-1. Marner back after it. Jiricek gets it into the corner, but not out. Matthews with a pass in front of Tavares! Stuffed there by Merzlikins.
And that is the Leafs' best chance of the night as John Tavares, between the hash marks, took a pass from the left wing boards and walked in alone on Merzlikins. And then after Max Domi had a pretty good chance from the top of the crease, Leafs on the forecheck have been able to force some turnovers off Columbus sticks, but unable to find the back of the net so far.
Bertuzzi, Tavares, and Domi, the forward line, as Marner has been pushed up to play with Matthews and Nylander. So the injury to Ryan Reeves, as the Leafs are down to 11 forwards, is dictating some interesting combinations. Centering pass blocked by Merzlikins, and he's able to get a glove on it and hang on.
And yet, from the forward side of things, it's the same 11 forwards that played 2 nights ago against the New York Rangers. So, and Ryan Reeves didn't dress 2 nights ago. They dressed 11 forwards and 7D.
He's still pulling names out of a hat at the back.
Well, I know, but you would think it would be simple to go back to that lineup with those line combinations that scored 7 goals.
But right now, he's interested in getting 1 goal. Now brought out by Werenski. He'll shoot it into the Toronto zone. Down the boards goes Chinakhov. He lost it as it's back of the net. A wraparound attempt in front of the goal. And Domi is able to knock it away. And now with skating room down the left wing, he tries to break it in over the line. But hustling back was Blankenberg. And Nick Blankenberg now finds Zach Werenski for Columbus. Pass through neutral ice. Brought into the zone by Sillinger. Set to the side of the Leaf goal. Wrapped around the wall it goes. And Yarncrook starts away. Tried to play it ahead for David Camp, but he wasn't paying attention. Head back into the Toronto end. Jake McCabe back of the goal. Got it up on the wing, but pinching down was Jake Bean to keep it in. Played around to the far side. Played back behind the Toronto goal. McCabe let it go. And Yarncrook trying to launch it out at center, or Gregor trying to launch it out at center. Gets it into neutral ice. David Camp trying to get it in over the line. That doesn't work. Sillinger playing it back up on the left wing. Jake Bean comes to center and shoots it into the Leaf end. Slowed up by Samsonov. Down into the corner. Lagesson took his man down. There's going to be an interference penalty here. And maybe another penalty to Cole Sillinger, who takes exception to the penalty that Lagesson was going to get. The Columbus player is still down. Is that Laine?
Be a 9. I think it is Patrick Laine that might be down, and that might be why Sillinger came in. But Lagesson, I mean, this is interference. Doesn't play the puck at all as it zip it around behind his own net, but races to the far boards and engages with Laine about the hash marks. And Laine, who is now ends up below the goal line to the left of the Leaf net. And
still down on all fours. Lagesson to the box.
He hit the boards with his left shoulder, and that appears to be the problem for Laine right now.
Sillinger's also going to get a penalty here, so we'll sort it out when we return. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Want to be certain your reno goes right? Start with Pro Materials with CertainTeed Drywall. In fire resistant, water resistant, super durable, or soundproof and top quality insulation. Ceiling systems, premium shingles, and siding. Do it right with professional grade building materials from CertainTeed. Pro all the way.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh, it's just me helping the city with my super strength. And help is what we did for Dave and Keith. They wanted a new living room and were approved for a home renovation loan. I'm invited to their next potluck, and I'm bringing my famous hero dip. I basically just melt a jar of cheese with my super heat vision.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Love meatballs? You could have spaghetti and meatballs, but why have a dish where they're mentioned second, like an afterthought? With 2-for-1 Pizza's new meatball menu, meatballs are the star of the show with dishes like meatball pizza, with meatballs, green peppers, and red onions starting at just $11.99, or their classic meatball sandwich on 6-inch toasted garlic bread smothered in classic tomato sauce and mozzarella from just $9.99. Order online at 2for1pizza.com.
Patrick Laine has gone to the Columbus dressing room, and both Sillinger and Lagesson are in the penalty box, and it appears that it might be coincident minor penalties. I mean, it wasn't a vicious hit or anything.
No, it was interference, so they got the right call on that. But yeah, what happened was they got tangled up. And when Laine slides on his knees and hits the end boards, he hits it with his left shoulder. And you could see he reacted as soon as he made contact with the boards. That something bad had happened. And then really labored getting off the ice with the injury. And because the the defensemen all jumped down after the whistle, face-off is going to come outside the Leaf zone. And it does, in fact. It's going to be 4-on-4. Matthews and Willie Nylander out up front for the Leafs.
Puck goes down into Columbus territory. Werenski getting it up, so now both teams are minus a forward. Left wing side, Goodro puts the brakes on, works back towards the blue line, centering pass to the far side, but it bounced over Fantilli's stick. And the Blue Jackets play it in deep, and now Brody has room. He's going to rattle it, but didn't get it far enough to reach Willie Nylander, and the Blue Jackets bring it right back to the blue line, except Goodro brings it out into the center ice area. A pass for him was deflected by Matthews deeper into Columbus territory. Fantilli finally gets a hold of it. Fantilli from Nobleton, Ontario, brought out at center, and Werenski gets it up on the right wing side. Engaged there by the Maple Leafs. Fed ahead. Oh, almost a breakaway for Nylander. The pass, he was coming from behind him, and it just failed to connect on his stick. Goodro trying to get away from Marner. Works in over the line. Nifty little move there. Backhands it off the side of the goal. Gets the rebound to play it back towards the point. Kept in at the right side, and now fed around the boards by the Blue Jackets. Cut off there by Timmins. Fed to an open corner that Kent Johnson arrives at. Played it back to the point. Trying to work in front now. Back into the slot for Provorov. A shot deflected wide. The rebound scores. From behind the goal line, Justin Danforth of Oshawa makes it 3-0 Columbus. And we said the next goal was a big one. Well, there it is.
And the Leafs just got caught standing around. 4-on-4. Shot from the top of the left wing circle, goes off his stick and wide, short side. But the angle has it come out right back from the same side it came from, which is the blocker side of Ilya Samsonov. And might have been Connor Timmins that blocked the first one. And even Ilya Samsonov, Joe, very slow to react. And Danforth actually backhands this from below the goal line. Just a rebound off the boards.
Nylander stepping into one off the face-off, and it is swallowed up by Merzlikins.
So it was below the goal line and then banks it in off Ilya Samsonov to make it 3-0 Columbus. 11:40 now to go here in the second period.
Wasn't so long ago that the Columbus Blue Jackets ended a Toronto Maple Leafs season rather disappointingly.
And Columbus has not been back to the postseason since then.
No. Draw one by Toronto. Fed off on the left wing side. Morgan Riley's shot doesn't make it through. Nylander coming off the far wall. Still 4-on-4. Took a shot. Kicked away by Merzlikins. Riley works back in behind the net. Tries to find Nylander and does. And a shot rattled wide of the goal. Matthews working it back to the blue line. Still with it. Matthews works to the near side. being mirrored there as he works now into the slot. Still has the puck. Penalty door opens, and the puck comes out at center, and Matthews has to go back for it. Played back in on the left wing for Domi. Domi for Nylander. Oh, he had Riley going to the front of the net, but he couldn't get him the puck on a backhand pass. 3-0 in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Played down into the lead. Jacket zone, and Bean getting it around the boards. Robertson couldn't come up with it. Johnny Goodro gets it ahead. Brought in over the line. Pass into the slot. Goodro shooting. And it deflects and goes over the net and off the screen.
This game is very close to getting ugly. Leafs have had some opportunities in desperation. You got to figure if Columbus is able to go up 4. You thought the last goal was a big one? Next goal could be the finale from a Leafs standpoint. Willie Nylander ripped one off the outside of the post, glove side, at one end. But the Leafs they seem frozen in their own zone, don't they? Not aggressive at all. Standing around and being spectators.
Draw one by Columbus. Around back of the net. Trying to come out with it. Voronkov, it comes back to the point. Grabbed off there, fed by Provorov to the right wing side, and a shot in traffic is gloved by Samsonov and will be held. Leafs are out shooting Columbus 17-14, but they trail 3-0, and Ilya Samsonov's.
I mean, the third one is the one that maybe you'd like a little quicker reaction from. He was unable. I mean, Danforth got it very quickly off the backboards and banked it in off the Leaf goaltender. But this now means 8 of the 13 starts that Ilya Samsonov has had has been 3 goals against or more.
Draw one by Columbus. Near side, Werenski works into the slot. Got a weak shot away that was blocked and now played ahead by David Camp. Gregor gets it in on the right side for Bobby McMahon, but it rolled off his stick. Played out at center ice. Sillinger in on the right side, a bit too far. Benoit playing it up on the wing. And the Leafs Camp gets it to center, and it's backhanded down into the zone, and it is McMahon getting there first, but he couldn't make a play. Now pushes it to the side of the goal, then tries to come out with it, and then wiped out one of the defensemen coming in front. Now a shot from an angle is stopped by Merzlikins. Leafs keep the puck in, but now Columbus able to break it out. To the Leaf blue line. Left wing side. Johnson a shot, and a pad save made by Samsonov. Leafs counter and bring it back. McMahon working to the line, but can't get it in deep, and now brought back by Columbus. Left wing side. Chinakhov working in on goal. Scores! And we may be getting a look down the bench here.
Austin Matthews turns it over just inside the Columbus line. And the Leafs, who may have got caught in a line change, as Chinakhov just barrels down from the left wing side and rifles it through the legs of Ilya Samsonov. And Samsonov doesn't square up. It looks as though he's expecting the Columbus player to go from his forehand to backhand on the deke, because TJ Brody got beat wide pretty easily there as well. But right now, this is turning into a bit of an embarrassment for the Leafs.
And now here's a breakaway opportunity and a save made. It bounces off the goal post. And is there a penalty coming here? A tripping call that may be coming to Columbus.
All right, I thought initially the Leafs, but I think Adam Fantilli is going to go for Columbus as he was reaching for the loose puck.
Penalty number 11 is 2 minutes for tripping.
So the Leafs go to the power play. They are down 4-0. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Provorov and Juracek have assisted on both goals by Danforth, and the latest that has made it a 4-0 lead. Chinakhov getting the goal, his 7th. Danforth also getting his 7th. Leafs win the draw. Drive by Riley was blockered away nicely there by Merzlikins. Sillinger will carry it to center and send a long shoot in on Samsonov. The puck around the boards on the near side, and Tavares starts away. Gave the puck away at center, regained it, sends it back now for Marner. Here's the power play for Toronto, brought in over the line. Marner for Matthews, can't get it in deep, and it is going to be played out at center ice. A power play brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Hurry to your local Subaru dealer and get more out of every kilometer this fall, including more karaoke. Matthews, left wing side. Brought in by Tavares. Got it back to the blue line to Riley. Near side for Nylander. Closing to the left wing side. Matthews rings it off the goal post. 8th time this year he's hit the iron. And then Nylander, trying to load up a wrist shot, had it roll out at center ice. Sean Corrali has intercepted a pass. Brought back in, and a shot is knocked away. One of the strengths of the Blue Jackets is they're 6th in penalty killing. They've scored shorthanded goals as well. Brought in now and flipped in by Sean Corrali, and back of the net goes Timmins. 26 seconds left to go in the power play. Matthews coming through neutral ice. Got it on the wing now for Bertuzzi. Fed back to the blue line to Timmins. Walks the line, gives it back to Matthews. A pass in that went off the skate of Yarncrook. Leafs trying to keep it in, but failed to do so. And Robertson has to play it back to the defenseman, who then hits a skate and has to go all the way back into the Toronto zone as the penalty expires. What was that shutout streak again, Mr. Ralph, just to refresh my memory? Brought to the line and in, and shot around the boards by Nick Robertson. Back of the net for Domi.
This might be a good night to have it end.
Yeah, back along the boards, Bertuzzi. Set it wide of the net. Back of the goal, Provorov. Got it to the line, but not out. Pass off a stick, knocked away. Brought out at center ice now by Columbus. Drop pass off the stick of Voronkov. Comes back to the left wing side. Provorov, far side once more. This time Werenski tries to work it back of the net, and it'll come into the near corner. Back of the goal, Voronkov once more for Werenski. Back in along the near side. Lagesson is going to get a penalty for holding. So Columbus up 4-0. They're going to go to their first power play opportunity as a result of a holding penalty to William Lagesson. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's hear your pitch.
How would you like to invest in a project with a 90% success rate?
A unicorn, is it?
Unicorns aren't real, but 90% of our people report a positive outcome.
Where's this data from?
We asked thousands of BGC club kids.
Thorough.
Yeah, 90% of kids involved with BGC Canada say they make better choices because of a club.
That's unbelievable impact. Where do I sign?
BGC Canada. OpportunityChangesEverything.com.
Meet Rosemary.
I'm a pensioner. I budget very carefully, so saving energy means a lot to me.
When Rosemary heard about the home winterproofing program from Enbridge Gas, she decided to call.
My bills are much better. I noticed a big difference in the comfort.
If your home and household income qualify, you may receive free insulation, draft proofing, and a smart thermostat.
You've got nothing to lose. It's free.
And who doesn't love free? Visit enbridgegas.com/winterproofing. Terms and conditions apply.
Nobody goes on vacation for the moments that are just okay. That's why Sunwing vacationers go all in like it's a buffet of fun. Whether you're skimming the treetops like Tarzan's long-lost twin, or deep-end swimming with your flippers and fins. Or maybe you're just perfecting the art of doing absolutely nothing. Whatever vacationer you are, with Sunwing, you save more so you can do more. Book with your local travel agent or...
Leafs trail 4-0 and are now in the process of having to kill their first penalty as the Blue Jackets go to the power play. 12 of 75, 25th in the National Hockey League.
Actually, they came into this game with the exact same numbers, power play and penalty kill.
Now drop pass and a shot is whistled wide of the goal. Chinakhov letting it go from the far point. He gets it again over there. Now back it goes to Werenski, to Chinakhov. Left wing side, Johnny Goodro. Toe drag scores.
Now,
the much maligned Johnny Goodro has the Blue Jackets in front 5-0.
And the much maligned Patrick Laine scored in the first period. And this is the third goal for the Blue Jackets here in the second. I don't know if this hits anything, as there is a toe drag by Goodro, who had way too much time to walk in from the top of the left wing circle. No, I don't think this. I think this just goes off maybe the left arm of Ilya Samsonov and squeezes through.
Fifth goal of the season. And I'm kind of surprised that Martin Jones is still on the end of the bench.
Well, to be honest, I think this is a game where you leave Samsonov in for it. He's been removed twice this year in a couple of games against Tampa, where Joseph Wall in both those games came in relief to win them.
Sillinger gets it across the line. Benoit couldn't come up with it. Domi has it. Missed, and now here are the Blue Jackets back at it. Here's a shot from a sharp angle. Stop, another rebound is stopped by Samsonov. Leafs fail to get it out. Timmins in against the boards. Running into Bemstrom, who tries to play it around on the wall, but it is intercepted. Flipped high, but not high enough. Kept in at the point there by Werenski. And finally, the Leafs get it out. Here's Nick Robertson. In across the line, but ran out of real estate and ran out of gas. He heads to the bench. 4.5 minutes to play in the second period. 5-0. So after a 7-goal explosion at Madison Square Garden, the Leafs have come home and are in the process of laying an egg. Provorov comes to center, in on the right side. Backhand pass goes right through the goal crease to the near boards. Kept in at the point by Provorov, the former Flyer. It goes up on the wing and chipped there by Riley, and finally stolen back by Bobby McMahon, who gets it ahead for Brody. Brody launches it off the glass into the zone for Noah Gregor. He gets in there on the forecheck. Played back on the point, but no one there as the Leafs were in the midst of a change, and McCabe couldn't get there in time. Lagesson has to go back into his own zone to restore it with 3:35 left to go here in the second period. And the denizens in the seats have had absolutely nothing to cheer about. McCabe trying to keep the puck in. Bertuzzi does, but then when he got the shot away, Jake Dean got his stick in the way of that, deflects it up into the screen out of play.
Obviously, you're not going to command Ilya Samsonov when you're giving up 5 goals and 24 shots in less than 2 periods. But this is not a game that has been solely about goaltending. First goal of the game is a giveaway by Max Domi. Second goal, a giveaway by Morgan Riley. And in the third period, the Leafs just haven't been able to find their legs. And it seems every opportunity they've had offensively has been more out of desperation rather than good planning.
Leafs bring it in on the right side. Nylander works to the half boards, puts the brakes on, back to the point. Long shot in traffic. Rebound in front of the goal is knocked wide of the net as Matthews got a good chance there. Cleared out at center ice now by Columbus. To the blue line. Timmins freed it up to the far wing, but Riley couldn't get there. Kept in at the point with a long shot wide of the Leaf goal. Yarncrook couldn't get it out past Werenski. Now Nylander. And a giveaway right in front of the goal, and it's knocked wide of the net. Marchenko was a little late getting there. It might have been 6. A long shot off the wing by Timmins, off a stick, up into the screen, out of play. 2 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in what has been a disastrous second period after a equally bad first period. 3 in the second, 2 in the first, 5 love in favor of the Blue Jackets.
I think other games around the league are looking at this one, the other town scoreboard. Probably a little
Scratching
disbelief.
their heads, yeah. Centering pass by Domi doesn't work. At the blue line, another shot deflects off a leg from Marner that went wide. Domi trying to center, tried to pry it out in front. And Merzlikins is able to cover up on it. And another faceoff coming in the...
Oh, the Leafs can play for a little bit of pride the rest of the way. They have seen some crazy comebacks already this year. But unfortunately for the customers that are here, you don't pay less for games like this. And I think that's where the
There's no refund policy?
Well, you have season tickets.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
Hate to break it to you.
Yeah. I thought for a moment there was a new policy in place. Here's Domi getting it down into the corner. A sharp angle shot. Merzlikins couldn't get a glove on it initially, but then does after the fact. And with a minute 51 to go in the second period, another faceoff in his zone. The shots are very even, 24-23 in favor of Columbus, but the score is most definitely not 5-0.
Well, really, the Leafs, as we mentioned, so many giveaways that have led to goals for Columbus. But they've been outworked as well. And it really seemed to change after Columbus just scored the first goal. And all of a sudden, as Merzlikins grabs that right off the face-off, then all of a sudden they had a little more jump, a little more confidence, started to come in waves. And it was as if the Leafs weren't expecting it.
Trying to win for just the 3rd time on the road and 10th time in the season. And John Davidson and the Columbus general manager Jarmo Kekalainen are under a lot of heat because of the way things have been going with the Columbus Blue Jackets. course, this was supposed to be Mike Babcock's return to Toronto. That didn't work out as expected either. Morgan Rielly in the Leaf zone. A pass went off Matthews' stick. Quickly played back out at center ice by the Blue Jackets. Now Nylander in for Matthews. Yarncrook headed for the front of the net, but the pass was intercepted. Stolen then by Nylander. A pass off a skate goes to Yarncrook, who gets it back to the point. Lagesson completely fanned on the shot, and it is brought to center ice. Played into the Toronto zone. Voice of Paul Morris making that announcement. And our good friend Andy Frost getting to announce the Philadelphia Flyer lineup to the group in the dressing room the other night. I thought that was great as it goes into the screen and goes out of play.
That was nice that John Tortorella allowed him to do it. As you'll remember, last year when Philadelphia played here in Toronto, Morgan Frost was a healthy scratch.
Goodro's fifth from Chinakhov and Werenski. Scoring play that builds the lead to 5-0. Timmins getting it back to the blue line. Tavares sends it towards the net, but it's blocked. Brought back out with 18 seconds left. In over the line for Danforth. Danforth curls in the corner. Got it back to the point. Long shot in traffic. That was knocked away by Samsonov. And the Leafs get the puck out into the center ice area with 6 seconds left. Tavares can't get a shot away. Whoa! And then two of the Leafs collide.
Well, not often you get two defensemen.
McCabe and Timmins.
And McCabe's going right to the dressing room. As he was doubled over. Maybe right shoulder.
Yep.
Boy.
He wasted no time. He headed for the exit. Now there's just 9/10 of a second left in the period, but it's going to be things going from bad to worse. Leafs have already lost Ryan Reeves in the first period. 3 goals unanswered in the second period. And a chorus of the Bronx cheer. Speaking of a win in Madison Square Garden the other night. Cascading down on the Leaf ears as they are trailing 5-0 after 2 periods of play.
And it's hard to... I'm going to stick around to listen to Jim Taddy and Dave Feschuk just to see if they can find something positive out of the first 40 minutes. If you're going to say shots on goal are close, that might be grasping at straws, but all we got.
It is a 5-0 Columbus lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
This league's crazy right now. This thing is all up in the air.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Travis Kelce. This dude sees the game differently and at a much higher level than a lot of people out there running around playing.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman joining us.
Dak has always had all of the intangibles, and it's why I've always had so much respect for him.
Nobody covers the game like Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Well, it is 5-0 Columbus over the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. TSN after 40 delivered by 241 Pizza. 241 Pizza taking it up a nacho with new 241 nachos and Irish nachos for just $9.99 each. Called 241. Oh, 241. Speaking of taking it up a nacho, the Leafs could take it up 6 nachos.
Oh, yes. There are many, many notches to go here. They came out burning very low, Mr. Taddy, in the first period. And you would have thought, hey, Columbus is a good first period team. We just got back from the dad's trip, a little emotional high, followed by a low first period. You would have thought that intermission would have been a reset. Sheldon Keefe says, hey, fellas, okay, the game has started. Let's get out there. But no.
Let me interject. No guy.
No guy.
In fact, in the first 90 seconds, you and I are sitting there. Columbus had 3 grade A scoring opportunities. They didn't score, and then I thought that could be the turning point. The Leafs went down and had some good offensive zone pressure, and then all of a sudden, the turning point actually is the Lagesson slew foot on Lionel. Now, Sillinger and Lagesson both go off, but after that, this was Columbus's game.
It really was. I mean, you're right. Right before Lagesson took down Patrick Laine, and Laine left the game with a apparent shoulder injury, John Tavares was in alone. It was a nice pass from Matthews. Looked like, hey, very good chance to make it 2-1. Leafs get back in it. Doesn't happen. Nice save by Merzlikins down that end. Then there's the penalty. And then it just turns into, as you point out, a barrage to the Toronto goal. And you can blame Ilya Samsonov for a lot of the goals here. I mean, he has not been good tonight.
No.
The 5 goals against on the first 22 shots. But we talked about it in the first period. The first 2 goals were bad turnovers by Maple Leafs.
Oh, yeah.
Max Domi and Morgan Riley, respectively. The third goal is Samsonov's fault. The Danforth goal goes in off his blocker. I mean, the fourth goal, Chinakhov just blows by TJ Brody.
Blew right in.
It was your number one defensive pair out there, and the Blue Jackets blew by them like they weren't even standing there, like they were pylons. Can't really blame the goalie on that one, to my eye. Yeah. And the fifth goal, 5-hole Goodro. Again, Samsonov's got to be sharper. But the zone time and the pressure that Columbus was generating was not helping things, and the Leafs didn't have enough of it going the other way.
Well, you can't. I mean, the goalie doesn't look good, but so does nobody else on the ice looks good. There are moments, there are offensive opportunities that present themselves. There's the one shot, but nobody's working hard or together.
No, it's a total mail-in effort so far. And, look, you can say they've been a comeback team all year, Jim.
6 goals in the third period, not out of the question.
They've had a 3-goal comeback. They've come back from 4-1, obviously.
Who knows?
So it's not out of the question. I will say this. Columbus is a terrible third-period team. They've had a hard time holding leads. Now, I don't know how many 5-0 leads they failed to hold. I would think it's a very low number. But, it is possible to generate something here. But, you know what? This is kind of a typical Leaf effort against a bottom-of-the-standings team because you look at it.
Chicago.
2 losses to Chicago. 4-1 in October, 4-3 in OT last month. Lost to Ottawa 6-3. Needed a late comeback to beat Montreal. When there's been an opportunity to play down to the competition, and the competition has not been particularly good as relation to the standings, Maple Leafs have taken it, and tonight they've taken it to a new low.
Yeah, and one year you'd like to be able to say they don't do that anymore, but we're not there yet, are we?
Apparently not.
No.
And I'm sure that really dismays Sheldon Keefe because. Look, because of the poor effort, suddenly the spotlight, and a glaring spotlight, an unflattering spotlight, is on Ilya Samsonov tonight.
Yeah.
And at a moment when you just lost the guy that was emerging as your number one, heck, he had emerged as your number one in Joseph Wall, and now out for week to week. We think it's going to be multiple weeks with the high ankle strain.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you need Samsonov more than ever to reassert his confidence, to reassert himself as the goaltender he was last season. And an effort like the players in front of Samsonov have provided tonight, they are not providing a platform for the guy to reemerge.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with what you said there, but I think I'm going to sum it up differently. They need to stop returning to these ridiculous narratives.
Yeah.
Playing down to the opposition. Who's the number one goaltender? Not being able to play consistently. I mean, these things, they just keep coming back.
You're right. And you would like to think this is a more mature team. Now in year 8, season 8 of the Matthews-Marner era. They're not young anymore.
Which is 2 years older than the Vegas Golden Knights are.
Yeah. I mean, you can't fall back on youth anymore. You can't fall back on inexperience anymore. I guess you can fall back on a lack of continuity if that's what you choose because you got some new guys and you're only 26 games into the season. I understand that, but those aren't great excuses to me.
Well,
I don't think Sheldon Keefe is going to allow those excuses to hold water. To your point, There's got to be some evolution here.
Yeah.
Because how do you rack up points? You rack them up against a team like this. How do you put, distance between yourself and your next division rivals in the standings? You take care of business against the Chicagos and the Ottawas and the Columbuses. Especially, Columbus comes in here having won 2 games on the road. They're now 20 minutes away and a 5-goal lead from winning their third. You don't want to be the team.
This will be the best game of the year.
Yeah, you don't want to be the team that loses at home to the terrible on-the-road Columbus Blue Jackets, and yet Maple Leafs are on the verge of doing that.
Well, we've got seconds to do it. I can't buy into a first game back after a road trip. It's New York.
It was a New York road trip, and it was between, they had to take a bus from Long Island to Manhattan.
It's New York.
It was a New York road trip, and it was between, they had to take a bus from Long Island to Manhattan for, in between the games. Now, maybe they had a lot of fun with the dads. Maybe there's an emotional letdown.
Okay, but
yeah, no, I'm not. Look, they're pro athletes. I mean, you've got to be able to deal with these things. And tonight, they're not dealing with it.
No, they're certainly not. And the scoreboard tells you that. Columbus 5, Toronto nothing after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
It's the holidays at Staples, which means saving like never before. Give them the gift of wireless so they can stay connected. After all, catching up with family and friends is what this time of year is all about. Save on devices from Bell and Virgin Plus and have them sending merry messages in minutes. And with the latest smartphones from Staples, they can keep in touch anytime, anywhere. Find gifts they'll love for every holiday budget at your local Staples store now. Ask an in-store associate today about our exciting offers.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Voudriez-vous apprendre une autre langue?
Would you like to learn another language?
Comme l'italiano?
Like Italian.
O español?
Or Spanish. With Babbel, learning a language is
fácil,
easy, Lessons take just 10 minutes a day and are voiced by real native speakers designed for all levels of learners. Right now, Babbel is offering radio listeners 55% off their subscription. Visit babbel.com/radio. That's BABBEL.com/radio for 55% off.
Okay, before we go, does anyone need to use the bathroom?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
You're sure you're sure?
Yep.
There are some things in life you can't trust.
Mommy?
Oh, come on. And there are some things you can, like the HP Smart Tank printer. With up to 2 years of ink included and outstanding print quality, you can always rely on the HP Smart Tank. From HP, Canada's most trusted printer brand. Available at Staples.
I donated blood for the first time after my dad was injured.
I donated plasma after my friend got sick.
A donor made it possible to have more holidays with Dad.
More holiday markets with my friend.
So I make the time.
So now I tell everyone.
Blood and plasma donors make the holidays brighter for families like mine.
Donate blood or plasma this holiday season at Canadian Blood Services. Visit blood.ca to book an appointment at a location near you.
How was your doctor's appointment?
Funny you ask. I got a flu shot specifically formulated for people over 65. It's called Fluzone, high-dose quadrivalent. It's publicly funded in Ontario for people 65 and older.
You learn something every day.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist for Fluzone high-dose quadrivalent, a vaccine used to prevent influenza for people over 65. Vaccines don't provide 100% protection. Side effects and allergic reactions may occur. Visit fluzone.ca to learn more.
At Trillium Health Partners, we're ready to see you, not just as a patient, but as a person who needs innovative care with a human touch, a person with a life, with hopes, and with fears. At Trillium Health Partners, we'll see the whole you, our nurses, our doctors, and our staff. Because when we care for the whole person, our whole community gets stronger. Trillium Health Partners, we see you. Learn more at weseeyou.ca.
The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory. It's arriving daily. Guy, it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. There's what we have. Carolina 2-1 over Detroit midway through the second. End of the second, it is the Capitals 2-1 over the Flyers. End of the first, Minnesota 1-0 over the Flames. After 20 minutes, the Blues and their new coach 1-0 over the Senators. Later on tonight, Lightning visiting the Oilers, Chicago and Seattle, and the Panthers in Vancouver against the Canucks as it's Bobby Lou night. In this game, it's 5-0 for Columbus over the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. Oh, yes, Guy. How did you know? The third period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Tonight on Sirius XM Sports.
Two longtime rivals from the AFL and AFC West get together to kick off Week 15. Tune in now as the Los Angeles Chargers invade Las Vegas for a matchup with the Raiders. On your home for the best analysis and play-by-play of the National Football League. Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. He scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91. Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph. Luca Moya here pushing the buttons for us and keeping us on the air. Matthew Cardadero back at the station, and Owen Hall, who thinks he's running the operation, is running the operation. So, and let's blame him for a 5-0 Columbus lead after 2 periods of play. And if this is one of the great comebacks in Leaf history, you can congratulate me for actually thinking that it might happen.
I'm blaming you right now. It is, well, let's put it this way. You're trying to find the positive. Traffic should be good heading home after. Because, even looking at the start of the third period here, either people are very slow getting back or they've had enough after 40 minutes. And you are going to get games like this over the course of the regular season. And the New York Rangers can probably say the same thing. Remember, Shesterkin gave up, 15 goals in his last 3 starts, which is very rare for the former Vezina Trophy winner.
I believe I see Jake McCabe down on the Leaf bench, so that in itself is
good news.
Good news.
Ryan Reeves has not returned. He's being hurt in the first period.
Patrick Laine will not return either with a shoulder injury sustained in the second period. So, we're underway. Third period. You know, if we don't tell the score, people who are tuning in may stay with us longer because they won't know what the score is.
The next 6 are a big one. Next 6 goals are huge.
All right. Played down into the Blue Jackets' end. Swatted around the boards. Cut off over there on the far side by Nylander. Circles through. Still steals the puck. Got a shot away. Merzlikins may have been just enough to tip that wide. Now centering pass. They score! The comeback is on! The Maple Leafs are down 5-1, and Willie Nylander has scored. Set up there by Austin Matthews. Well, if you're going to get a comeback, you should score early. 38 seconds in is early.
Now they need the often part. As a pretty simple play thrown around the boards, and Austin Matthews traps it in behind the Columbus net. Traps it on his backhand, looks over his right shoulder, and sees Willie Nylander alone right at the hash mark to the left of Merzlikins, and he just simply delivers it to the net before the Columbus goaltender can react. And the Leafs' non-shutout streak continues.
Yes. Brought out at center ice, a pass up on the wing, sent in then by Morchenko. McCabe gets it along the boards. Chipped ahead for Marner. Marner double-teamed over there, trying to get some help, and then a shot right on is stopped and then poked away, and Lagesson comes away with the loose puck. He'll alley-oop it into the center ice area, but Columbus has it under control there. Not that is. Now here's a loose puck in front of the goal, and down is Merzlikins to cover up on it and hold for a face-off. Nylander with his 14th of the season. He continues to lead the league, or the Leafs in points, now with 37 on the season.
The Leafs come back with a great chance, but Bertuzzi just unable to drag the puck forehand to backhand around the left pad of Merzlikins. But the Leafs get another one quick. I mean, if you can get to within 2 by the midway mark of the period,
you never know.
You never know. You've seen
been a part of some dramatic come from behinds, but unfortunately it's usually been the opponent. Shot goes wide. Remember a game in Detroit where the Leafs had a nice tidy 6-2 lead going into the third period, and it blew up in their faces.
I do remember a Leaf game at home against Boston. I believe they were down 5-1 or 6-1 and managed to come back and win that one.
So it does happen. But you gotta catch a break. You need an ugly one that's in there somewhere too. But before you can score 5, you got to get 1, and they've gotten 1 on the board, and it's 5-1 Columbus.
Well, we will see if there is that big push on its way. One thing we know for sure, Ilya Samsonov is going to have a perfect period.
Draw 1 by Columbus. Blankenberg trying to send it in, had it blocked, the puck along the boards. Calle Järnkrok fighting for it. Matthews trying to fend it out of traffic, and now Matthews does, and he pushes it ahead. Nylander with one man back in on goal with a shot. And Merzlikins was out at the top of his crease to make the save, and now we've got a pile-up. Who's in the middle? Oh, Järnkrok is the Leaf that's getting kind of...
Yeah, and he didn't really do much. It was just kind of a flyby past the Columbus net. And all of a sudden, there were 2 or 3 Columbus players.
His helmet just got pried off. But at this point...
Doesn't look like we're going to get any penalties out of it.
No.
Well, Nylander, good for him to find the back of the net, because it's been, even though the points have been there, for Nylander it has been long stretches without scoring goals. The last goal that he had scored was in Ottawa against the Senators.
Face-off to the left in the Columbus zone. Face-off to the left in the Columbus zone. High stick comes up and clipped one of the defenders there as it comes off on the wing. Robertson's shot. That deflected high and wide. Robertson unable to get to the rebound. Brought out at center and launched into the Toronto zone, but it won't go for icing. Lagesson back there in the corner. Running into his man was Domi, and Domi comes out with it with a pass and a return feed then by McCabe. Didn't hook up, but now Robertson in. Took a shot that went off a leg and went wide. So return feed then by McCabe. Didn't hook up, but now Robertson in. Took a shot that went off a leg and went wide. Sillinger for Columbus. Looking for a long breakaway pass, and it was off the stick of Bemstrom, who was in behind the Leaf defense.
Kind of a little odd for him to be up there with a 5-1 lead, isn't it?
There's a pass up on the wing that pushes out at center that McMahon couldn't get to. Peak sends it in. Well, some of the believers have got the chant going. Let's see if the Leafs can maybe respond to it, but it's back down into the Leaf zone. David Camp comes up on the left wing, got it ahead from McMahon, a long flip in, blockered away there by Merzlikins into the near corner. Riley at the point, batted in front, and out of midair, Järnkrok. Then he had his helmet knocked off again and had to go to the bench. Leafs trying to keep the puck in, and they do. Brody bringing it around for Riley on the far side. Riley taken to the boards by Andrew Peak, and the Blue Jackets trying to get the puck out, and they do. They've got a 3-on-2 rush coming to center, and it's just flipped in by Chinakhov, and then crashing into Riley and ending up underneath the defenseman was one of the forecheckers. Now here's Tavares in, got the pass in front of the goal, scores! What a move between the legs from Mitch Marner, and don't look now, it's 5-2.
John Tavares with a shifty move down the right wing boards finds Mitch Marner cruising to the net of the slot. And Marner does a little between his own legs and almost fans on this as this slides 5-hole. Right-handed shot, put the puck back between his own legs and shot the puck from behind his right skate. But
now here the Leafs back into the attack.
It seemed to fan on it, and that fooled the goaltender.
Tavares sends it in front of the loose puck into the goal crease again. Merzlikins is down. The puck is still free. They're jamming away at it. It's still free. Merzlikins down, still in front, and it's knocked wide of the goal. Holy Mackinac, they'd scored there. Things would really be moving. McCabe at the point to Marner. Marner to the right wing side, and it's got this crowd revved up. A centering pass, and it was knocked to the near boards and now brought out at center ice. Whoa, brother. What a scramble that was. Riley goes back into his own zone. Up ahead for Matthews. Matthews strides down into the corner, and the Leafs have a lot of jump to their step here now. Played around to the far wing, 5-2. Marner getting goal number 12 on the season. Out come the Blue Jackets. On the wing a shot, blockered away there by Samsonov. It's around back of the net for Morgan Riley.
High sticking penalty coming against the Leafs. And who is this? Is this Nick Robertson? Or pardon me, Nylander? 88 in the far corner. And that'll put a little cramp, a bit of a cramp in the comeback here for the Leafs. But pretty easy call to make. Nylander, I think, trying to lift the stick of the Columbus player, misses it, comes up and knocks his helmet.
5:05 the time.
Chinakhov, I think, sold it pretty well. But it's a high stick. It's the right call.
McMahon gets the additional assist along with Tavares, who now has 1,002 points on his career. A centering pass in front, and down to smother that is Samsonov.
Leafs already now up to 34 shots on goal in this game.
And now McCabe getting in a bit of a shoving session with one of the Blue Jackets from their go around in front of the net.
Leafs already have 9 shots on goal 5 minutes into the third period. That is shot number 4 for the Blue Jackets.
What a nifty little move by Marner.
Yeah. Like I said, it almost seemed like fanning on it.
And it just trickled through, yep. Fooled everybody, including Merzlikins. Shot from the point, well wide of the Leaf goal, trapped in the left wing side. Back to the point, Werenski to the near boards. Chinakhov trying to send it off on the left wing side. Goodro takes it, centering pass in front. Down is Samsonov, and he's able to cover up on it and bring another face-off in the Toronto zone.
Right, that was a big stop by Ilya Samsonov. Pass from below the goal line to the right of the Leaf goaltender, thrown out front, and I think that was Marchenko that was right there at the top of the crease. Took the pass, delivered it towards the Leaf net. And Samsonov was able to not only get his left hand on the original shot, but then stop the second one as well.
Draw to the left of the Toronto netminder. And it's won by the Leafs, and Marner is able to carry the puck out at center. Works in on the right side, trying to get around Goodro. Works still with the puck, but then had it taken away. And then the Blue Jackets will get it up on the wing, and here's Goodro knocked. And then the Blue Jackets will get it up on the wing, and here's Goodro knocked off stride. Leafs play it out and down the ice. 14 minutes left in the third period. The Leafs have scored twice here in the third to make it respectable. As it's brought back in on the right wing now by Columbus. 54 seconds left to go in the penalty. Puck comes free. Brought on by Yarncrook. Yarncrook goes wide. Nowhere to go with it but to send it around. Puck comes free. Brought on by Yarncrook. Yarncrook goes wide. Nowhere to go with it but to send it around back of the net. Noah Gregor couldn't get it back out in front. And Columbus coming through center. Get it in on the left wing. Fantilli around back of the net. Tried a wrap around, and he got leveled there by Simon Benoit, and it's shot down the ice by Toronto. Brought out at center now by Columbus. They get it in on the left wing side. Bemstrom stops, kept alive at the point by Provorov. Around the boards, it'll come to the near side, and the penalty is about to expire. And the Leafs will have to try to get back into the offense here as quickly as possible. Nylander hovering around center ice, hoping that maybe a loose puck might develop, and now it does. And it's Matthews bringing it out. Matthews to the line and into Willie. Now to Marner on the near side. Can't come up with it. It's lifted high. Back out into the center ice zone. Morgan Rielly goes back to the puck. Jake McCabe starting out of his own end. Left wing feed too far for Nicky Robertson. He hustles after it to play it around on the boards. Got it back again behind the net, looking for Domi, who took a shot from an angle. Merzlikins down and is able to cover up on that. The 35th shot on goal for Toronto. Columbus has had 32. Well, the Leafs are sort of back in it. They trail by 3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Dodgers get Shohei Ohtani.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
10 years, $700 million. That's insane.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth, only better.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
I'm not sure that all of the contracts that I ever negotiated even totaled $700 million.
Where the players join the discussion.
Will Smith, Dodgers catcher.
He's the best player in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network.
Leafs fans, another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
12:14 to play here in the third period. The Leafs have scored twice. Nylander and Marner in the frame, cutting into what was a 5-0 Columbus Blue Jacket lead. Now, taking the book and turning the page, the Columbus Blue Jackets' self-esteem and confidence level isn't all that good either, the way things have gone. And if you can put a little more pressure onto a little heat into the kitchen, if you will.
Yeah, and a goaltender that hasn't played for a while has been out with an illness. Trying to test that.
Now here's Marner off a face-off win, got a shot, a backhand, went by Bertuzzi and it went wide. Bertuzzi for Tavares couldn't come up with it, but Tavares is able to keep it in at the blue line. Works down the boards, back to the blue line for Timmins. Near side, Marner deflected in front of the goal and it went just wide.
Oh, Jake McCabe had jumped down.
Marner unable to get it as it comes back into the Toronto zone, and now here's Bertuzzi finding Timmins. Timmins through center to the line and in with Marner. Works into the corner, rings the boards with it to find Bertuzzi. Sent back behind the net, no one there. Marner unable to get to it. Chipped up, but then stolen back. Marner trying to find a man in front of the net. Bertuzzi back to the point. Timmins holds, makes a move. Back to Marner. Marner with a shot in traffic and went wide. Rielly, I thought, could have taken that to the net. He had Merzlikins down, but chose not to. Kept in now by Nylander. Back to Nylander, coming in front of the goal, and it rolled off his stick. Nylander with it again. Working down the boards and into the corner. Leafs continue to press here. Puck comes to the side of the goal, and it's going to be flipped out at center ice by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Matthews, couple of moves, but couldn't penetrate through center ice. Gets another opportunity with it, and he's across the line. Right wing side, and Marner had it roll off his stick, and it's cleared back at center ice. Rielly will shoot it right back in again. Merzlikins slowed it up. Provorov in the far corner, lost it. A sweeping pass in front of the net for Nylander didn't work. And Fantilli for the Blue Jackets brings it back in over the line, but it's turned over again. Here's the 3-on-2 rush for the Leafs. Matthews on the wing for Gregor, and his shot is deflected by Andrew Peeke up into the screen, out of play. And another face-off coming in. Back into the Toronto end. Bertuzzi for Morgan Riley, left wing side. Flip pass in, and Tavares with a little redirect, but Merzlikins got a pad in the way of that. Back of the net, Marner. Marner trying to center it, had it go bouncing into the corner, tried to center it again, taken to the boards there by Provorov. Into the near boards it comes and into the corner. Bertuzzi chasing after that. The puck still free as it comes to Tavares. Back of the net for Marner. And drilled into the boards. Finally a penalty coming, but the referee, who was 5 feet away from it, didn't make the call.
And I think the official who makes the call is standing at center ice.
Garrett Rank
was waiting for the other guy to put his arm up. And now the officials are discussing it together. I don't know whether one didn't have a good view of it, but Mitch Marner looked like right in the numbers from behind. And the Leafs will go to the power play.
Boarding is the call. There's still time left, but they need it here. 7:26 to go. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-656-7129. That's 1-800-656-7129. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-656-7129. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-656-7129. Ontario license number 4705786.
Love meatballs? You could have spaghetti and meatballs, but why have a dish where they're mentioned second, like an afterthought? With 2-for-1 Pizza's new meatball menu, meatballs are the star of the show, with dishes like meatball pizza, with meatballs, green peppers, and red onions starting at just $11.99, or their oven-baked meatballs, baked in their classic tomato sauce topped with Italian herbs for just $10.99. Order online at 2for1pizza.com.
Power play brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Hurry to your local Subaru dealer to get more out of every kilometer this fall, including more karaoke. And the period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. Leafs with a shot that deflects off a leg and went wide. Matthews back to the blue line to Morgan Riley. Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. Leafs with a shot that deflects off a leg and went wide. Matthews back to the blue line to Morgan Riley. Riley to Matthews, to Riley again, to Willie. Nylander with a shot. Rebound is stuffed wide of the goal by Tavares. Riley keeps it in at the point to Nylander, closing with a shot. Big rebound comes back to Morgan Riley. Riley to Matthews. Matthews at the top to Willie. Back to Matthews. Shot coming and it's deflected wide. Kept alive by Morgan Riley. Riley on the left wing, half boards. Banks it back to Matthews. Works to the middle of the ice. Now to Marner. Marner looking for the pass. That deflected just off the mark wide. Rebound played by Tavares to the blue line. Marner looking for the pass. That deflected just off the mark wide. Rebound played by Tavares to the blue line. Riley will walk the line. Middle of the ice now to Matthews. Down low, centering pass into the goal crease, and Merzlikins is able to get a glove on it and hold on. 6:34 to play in the third period and 1:08 to go in this power play.
Great control by the number one unit for the Leafs. 1:08 to go on the power play. You know Sheldon Keefe is going to keep them out for as long as possible. I'd still like them to go back to that formation they had in the third period against the Rangers. Two guys in front.
Draw won by Columbus and quickly shot down the ice. Morgan Riley will go back to it. The veteran defenseman starts up ice, turns and drops for Marner. Mitch Marner to Matthews, to Tavares. Tavares overskated the puck, but now Matthews trying to get it back. Morgan Riley scoops it, then is able to keep it in, but it bounces out at center ice. He'll have to wait for Marner to get onside. Now decides to drop it back to Matthews once more. Half a minute to go in the power play. Nylander fanned on the shoot-in, and the Blue Jackets are going to get an easy clear of it here as they send it out and down the ice. And a whistle.
Be offside. Columbus player was trying to get the jump. It was Sean Corelli, who I believe disagrees with the call, as he is chirping the linesman all the way back into the Columbus zone, because the pass came from the Columbus end of the ice, and it's going to come all the way back, and the number one unit will head off. Number two unit has not been very productive on the power play. Howard Bertuzzi has a couple.
Domi wins the draw cleanly. Back to the point, just kept in by Connor Timmins. Now to McCabe, and the shot. Scores! What do you know?
Hey, you say something, the opposite will happen, right?
In our lives, yes.
Jake McCabe just wires it from the top of the left wing circle. And it leaks through Merzlikins. And with 5:39 to go, the Leafs are to within two, or is this going to be challenged?
Well, it was really close at the blue line with Connor Timmins keeping the puck in.
Now, referee looking over at Pascal Vincent, the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're going to play on.
But if you're wrong here, now you've got the Hornets' nest really starting maybe. So the Leafs do score on the power play, and Jake McCabe gets his first goal of the season, his first in a Leaf uniform, and it's cleared out into the center ice area. McCabe back in his own zone, scoops it over on the right wing side for Timmins. Timmins coming out now with a pass for Robertson. In on the left wing with a long shoot-in. It is an easy glove save for Merzlikins. And a face-off again coming in the Columbus zone. And if you're on the Columbus bench, you're going, oh no, let's not do this. Well, 5:17, the Leafs need another couple of goals. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Quiet your mind, reduce your stress, and rest easy with channels designed to help you fall asleep easier and faster. In the SiriusXM app, sink into the comforting white noise of the storm shower on Rainfall Radio. Fade out to the soothing sounds of the Sleep Channel, or drift off to the nature sounds with Forest Dreams. Find them all in the SiriusXM app, included with all trials and popular plans. Just search Sleep.
24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Connor Timmins was a nice, tidy little 4-game point streak going as he assists on the McCabe goal. Brought out at center ice and sent down into the Toronto zone. Here's Riley trying to push it away there from Goodro. Brody in against the boards. The puck is sent around back of the net out of the reach. Matthews will get to it, but he won't be able to play it out as it's launched high. Four minutes and 51 seconds left. Team that tried to outscore you every night and gave up enough that they had to score a lot. Played high to center ice. Leafs control there with Tavares against the boards. Tavares getting it back into the Toronto zone to the defense, and McCabe getting it off on the wing for Benoit. He's going to shoot it in. Merzlikins couldn't slow it up, but it bounces out to the side of the goal. It came in front, and no one could get a stick on it. Here's Riley working down low and around back of the net. Curls into the far corner. Still with it with a shot that went off a leg. Pass up at center ice now, and here's Columbus working in over the line. Little toe drag move by Sillinger, and it is swallowed up by Samsonov with 3:52 to go. And we have noticed the Leafs' penchant for getting a sixth attacker on fairly early under these circumstances, so I would not be surprised that another rush in the offensive zone may see Samsonov out of the game.
You remember the very first game of the season, the Leafs were down 2 late in the third period against Montreal. And Austin Matthews scored 2 to tie it, 15-28 and 18-53. Before Mitch Marner had the shootout winner.
Leafs get the puck down into the Blue Jackets' end, but Sillinger has it under control. Blankenberg got the center and got it into the zone, but Timmins is turning with the Maple Leafs in his own territory and gets it ahead. Brought on now by Gregor. He'll launch it into the left wing corner and hustles in there after it. The puck still free along the near boards. Backhanded out and down the ice, but it will not have enough to go for icing. Timmins quickly back the other way from McCabe. Leafs are changing. McCabe starting out. We'll keep an eye on Samsonov, but so far no inkling that he's headed for the bench with 3:09 to play. Nylander gets to the line but doesn't get it in. And Sean Kuraly up on the right wing side. Blackenberg in with a shot that rolled wide on the short side in the Toronto zone. Nylander works around back of the net, then drops it off. The Leafs will start out with it. And now Samsonov edging towards the bench. Marner works to the line, and there he goes. Extra attacker on for Toronto. Marner against the boards. That extra attacker coming on is Tavares. Comes out into the center ice area. Leafs are going to shoot it in courtesy of Nylander. Down the boards, Matthews. Got it freed up back of the net. Tavares to Marner. Marner, a centering pass, comes in front of the goal. They bang away at it, and it's knocked wide, and Marner had his stick knocked out of his hands. Or is it broken, maybe? Yeah, I think it's broken. It's rolling wide of the Leaf goal, and an icing call coming here against Columbus with 2:03 to play in the third.
I didn't really detect serious flash, did you? That might have broken the stick. Faceoff will come down to the Columbus zone, and Leafs, we talk about Samsonov had to be perfect in the third period. Leafs are going to have to be perfect in the faceoff dot as well. That's a huge faceoff.
Tavares will take the draw. Yarncrook is out as well. Nylander, Marner, and Morgan Rielly, and the puck won by Columbus. Played on the boards. Good block there by Nylander to keep it in. Grabbed off again by Columbus. They launch it down into the Leaf end, but it won't have enough to go for icing. Yarncrook around back of the goal, stops up, and now with 1:47 to go, Morgan Rielly starts out of his own end. He'll come to center and then drop it back for Matthews. Matthews to the line. Matthews trying to sift through the line, and it was knocked into the far corner. Rattled out and down the ice by Columbus, and an icing charge will come. But 1:28 remaining in the third, and the Leafs need to score twice.
And Sheldon Keefe burn a timeout here.
Austin Matthews has gone over to the bench. They're going to make the player change, kind of. And now the timeout is handled here. Well, a little this urgency could have been used in the first two periods, right? And that will again be part of the line story of the game.
Well, it's, I mean, we talked about this as we saw the score starting to build in favor of Columbus.
Story of the game.
Well, it's, I mean, we talked about this as we saw the score starting to build in favor of Columbus, that it's the identity or the DNA of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just when you think they're out and they're going to play a powerful team, they come up with a game that makes you believe that they're one of the elite in the league. And they follow that up by getting on 5-0 at home ice in the second period to Columbus. We've already mentioned they've lost twice to Chicago already this year.
Tavares to take the face-off against Sean Kuraly. And the draw scrum, but the Leafs come away with it. Nylander, left wing side, Rielly. Rielly closes down low with a... And the draw scrum, but the Leafs come away with it. Nylander, left wing side, Rielly. Rielly closes down low with a pass to Marner. Centering pass back to Nylander. Shooting, and it's blocked. He gets a rebound. Far side, Matthews scores! Don't look now. 1:15 to go, and they're down a goal.
Matthews from the right wing circle. Throws it through a maze towards the front of the net. I don't know if it hits something, but it goes off the right pad of Merzlikins and through. Something, but it goes off the right pad of Merzlikins and through. As the Leafs had a couple of chances go to the high slot. Willie Nylander had a shot block, got it back, and then threw it to the net. And trying to look again on the replay, I think this might have hit Provorov, the defenseman, Joe. Then off Merzlikins and into the net.
Samsonov back on the ice. Leafs hoping to get possession. And it's going to be, almost an icing, but the Leafs go back for it. Now here comes Morgan Rielly out. And this crowd is really into it now. Matthews across the line. Extra attacker on the ice. Matthews against the board. Swings it around for Morgan Rielly. Rielly looks for Tavares. Works to the half boards. Down into the corner for Marner. Marner back of the net. Wrap around. Oh, my goodness. Matthews had a great chance. Centering pass. They score! They score! Holy back at Austin Matthews has scored. The game is tied. The comeback complete. Tied at 5s. This is unbelievable.
I'll unpack my notes again. They did it in the very first game of the regular season. 2 late goals against Montreal. He almost had it seconds earlier on a wraparound. That didn't go, but Matthews would get another chance and bury it. 44.4 seconds to go, and Joe, this one from the right wing circle, but this time rips it far side, blocker side, into the back of the net, and the Leafs have scored 5 here in the third period.
Rolls in wide of Merzlikins down into the corner. They're on their feet here at Scotiabank Arena, and if they left early, you missed an amazing bit of hockey here. Puck played out at center ice with 22 seconds left and shot back into the Toronto zone. Leafs get it out at center. Shot by Bertuzzi back into the end. The puck now around the boards with 8 seconds left. The Leafs are going to get at least a point out of this from coming from a 5-0 third period deficit to send the game to overtime.
I'll tell you, there is something with Ilya Samsonov in net, or rather on the bench with an extra attacker, that seems to work for the Leafs. Most recently against the New York Islanders, we mentioned the first game of the season. Similar with Matthews, scores twice with Samsonov on the bench. It's happened again. Now Samsonov has to get his second overtime shootout victory of the season.
8th multi-goal game of his season, his 67th multi-goal game of his career. We're going to overtime. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Honey, what are you doing?
Building us a deck.
Why?
To spend more time outside.
No, why are you doing it?
Don't worry, babe. I got this.
There are some things in life you can't trust.
Uh-oh.
And there are some things you can, like the HP Smart Tank printer. With up to 2 years of ink included and outstanding print quality, you can always rely on the HP Smart Tank. From HP, Canada's most trusted printer brand. Available at Amazon.
Hey there, Canadian snowbirds. Planning your escape to warmer destinations? Don't forget the most essential part of your trip, travel insurance. Picture this. You're basking in the sun, sipping a pina colada, and suddenly life throws you a curveball. Medical emergency, delayed luggage, trip interruption? Don't worry. Goose Insurance has you covered. Canada's best insurance app. With Goose, you get $10 million in travel medical and get coverage for your unstable pre-existing medical condition. Download the Goose app today or visit gooseinsurance.com.
Idea how this worked out. 2-0 Columbus after the first period. Laine and Johnson. Then it was 5-0 after the second period. Goodro, Danforth, along with Chinakhov. Oh, yeah? Well, William Nylander scores 38 seconds in from Matthews and Lagesson. Then Marner scores from Tavares and McMahon at 3:49. McCabe on the power play from Timmins and Robertson at 14:21. And then Austin Matthews with 6 attackers on the ice scores twice. And we're into overtime. Leafs to the left. Columbus to the right. Matthews drops it back to Marner. Marner hits the line. Matthews swings to the front of the net. Marner hangs on to the puck and now gives it to him. Matthews dropping it back, and Marner will take it out into center ice. Marner hangs on to the puck and now gives it to him. Matthews dropping it back, and Marner will take it out into center ice. Now Marner has ideas of attacking, and he gets in over the line. Still with it, dropping it back for McCabe. McCabe decides to bring it back and stretch things out again. Now to Matthews. Matthews circles back at his own blue line. Played it ahead now for Morgan Riley. Riley in across the line. Fresh troops coming with him. Nylander swings wide. Nylander doesn't shoot it. Looks back now. He's got Yarncrook with him as Nylander goes around back of the net and centered. Yarncrook getting the puck back into the slot, and at least Riley in a foot race now, and it's broken up. Zach Werenski's on a breakaway. Stopped and held. Where's the puck? In a foot race now, and it's broken up. Zach Werenski's on a breakaway. Stopped and held. Where's the puck? No, it's gone into the corner. It's pushed out at center, and Willie Nylander trying to break, but Werenski shows you. Now Nylander steals. He's in. Stopped by the goaltender, Merzlikins. Goodro will go the other way. 2-on-1. Goodro shooting high. It goes off the glass, and they're countering again. 3-on-1 for the Leafs, and over the line. Shooting, stop, rebound, cleared to the near side. Brody didn't see it, but out come the Blue Jackets. Swept off a stick and back of the net. Goaltender out of the goal, grabbed off there and played up on the wing. Matthews. Blue Jackets swept off a stick and back of the net. Goaltender out of the goal, grabbed off there and played up on the wing. Matthews will slow things down. Thank you very much.
How you doing?
Not well. Brought on by Marner. Marner drops for Matthews, closing, shooting, fired it over top of the goal. The rebound is back of the net for the Blue Jackets. Chinakhov striding through center, in across the line. Everybody is on their feet for overtime. Marchenko will stretch it out and slow things down for Columbus.
Again, still no John Tavares in overtime. We're getting to the midway mark.
Played out at center ice, halfway through the overtime. Johnson holds, knocked down on the play. Loose puck goes to Domi, who's going to try and play it around the boards. And the Maple Leafs get it freed up, and here's Max breaking it out, but then slows it up. Domi sidesteps a couple. Played it up on the left wing side for McCabe, and the Leafs are changing again. Nylander takes the drop pass, hits the line and in, had it knocked away, cleared out at center ice, and the Leafs are going to have to hustle back, but now Columbus stretches it out. Kent Johnson plays back to the far side. What a night this has been. Here's Werenski, a pass in on the right side. Good play made there by Samsonov, and unable to wrap it around was Danforth. Werenski works in for Columbus, into the slot, drops it back for Kent Johnson, a shot, he scores! Well, if you're going to have a Hollywood ending, the Leafs score in overtime and come from all the way back. But I suppose Columbus do, after taking a 5-0 lead over 2 periods, are probably at least due some good luck somewhere on this. What?
But you need a save on this. I mean, you know, Samsonov stopped a partial breakaway a little earlier. Now you come back, and here's a wrist shot from the left wing circle, and sails over the shoulder. Now, I mean, you can be critical of the Columbus goaltending in the third period that got us to overtime. But Merzlikins does come up with a big save off of Austin Matthews, who tried to go 5-hole, and Willie Nylander on a partial breakaway. But I know the Leafs will take the point. They outshot Columbus by a count of 48-35. And overall, and like we said, what happened in the first 2 periods wasn't all goaltending, but 6 goals against for Ilya Samsonov, and half the games this season have been 3 goals against or more, and he's been pulled from a couple of games, and you were just hoping that this would be the kind of game, with the team play better in front of him, that he would be able to start to get a little bit of traction. But instead, for Samsonov, his struggles in overtime have been epic. Now 1-5 in games that have gone to extra time. The one that he won was the first game of the season when they came back on Montreal with a couple of late goals, and Mitch Marner scored in a shootout.
Does Martin Jones get a chance to run with the ball a bit?
Well, I think you got to go back with him Saturday. I think it's, with all due respect to Ilya Samsonov, you owe it to the team to let Martin Jones get back in on Saturday. I don't think you're at a point now where you could try to get somebody going. I think you're at the point where go with the guy that can run with it. And we saw Sheldon Keefe did that with Joseph Wall before Wall got hurt. It wasn't publicized, but all of a sudden, back-to-back starts, and Wall became the number one guy. And you certainly hope at some point Ilya Samsonov can find it. But like we said, the first 40 minutes wasn't all on him. But this
it was
is
still 5-0.
Yeah, but still, in overtime, this is where you want. And the type of goal as well, where it's a shot. It's a straight shot, no screen, and drop and block. No reaction to where the puck went. That might be a little hypercritical because it ruins what looked like was going to be a great party. But the Leafs, like they did against the Islanders, battle back, get a point, but it's not going to be quite as remembered as we'd like it to be. As we mentioned, the Leafs, like they did against the Islanders, battle back, get a point, but it's not going to be quite as remembered as we'd like it to be. As we mentioned, biggest comeback in history was 5 goals in 1989. They had a chance to match that tonight, just fell short.
So a 6-5 overtime win for the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll step aside for the post-game show. Dave Feschuk joining Jim Chatty. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
This league's crazy right now. This thing is all up in the air.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Travis Kelce. This dude sees the game differently and at a much higher level than a lot of people out there running around playing.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Hall of Fame quarterback differently and at a much higher level than a lot of people out there running around playing.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman joining us.
Dak has always had all of the intangibles, and it's why I've always had so much respect for him.
Nobody covers the game like Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
You have the latest